All right, Chris Peaks here, back today with the captain, L. Millner. We've had him on another show with me. Yeah, we got a new podcast here. I'm going to start here, and we're going to talk a little bit about politics today. L, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm doing well. I cannot complain. Man, I'm excited. We finally got our guy in there in office, and it's a brand new day.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you this before I get into it. Was you ever worried, man? I was afraid the media was going to plant this false narrative in people's head that she was actually going to win and they was going to be able to suppress the vote. I mean, I was worried there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I I was a little bit concerned, just because of what happened in 2020 with all the shenanigans that went on, and pretty much we all know there was shenanigans happen. Not to be specific, but we all know. So I figured they would do that again this go around. In order for her to win, I figured they would have to do that. But I think, like Trump said, it was too big to rig. So the numbers were just the numbers were through the roof. So not only was it a landslide for the electoral college, but he also won the popular vote. Right? That Democrats love to use the popular vote as the measuring stick of, well, who really won? Well, he won that and the electoral college, and we won the Senate, and we won the House. I mean, there's no questions to be asked. So, heading into it, like I said, man, I was a little bit concerned, but once they were about maybe like an hour into watching the election results, I was very confident, man. An hour in, once he started knocking off states that he had to knock off, I knew. I was like, oh yeah, this is the red wave that we were looking for in 2020. It happened in 2024. It's all good, right on time.
I mean, yeah, I've been wanting to write something on it, man, but I can't keep up because it's like everything changes by the minute. I've never seen somebody come in there and get stuff done like this. I mean, is this going to change it for future presidents? I mean, he makes other people look, even his past stuff, man, makes us like, I don't know if it's because he knows he's got one term and he's got this mandate. It's like, hey, we're going to do it. And I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think that last go round, he was the new kid on the block, so to say. Not a politician, not an establishment guy. So when he came into office, it was a learning curve, right? So he
Yeah,
knows how to run businesses. He knows how to put people in certain positions for success. But when it comes to
yeah,
politics, it was a little bit different. And so I think him having that experience of the last 4 years being president, then coming into this term, he had a break. They put Biden in there, so he had a break, and he was able to go behind the scenes and kind of make connections with people. So when he comes around this time, he's got all his ducks in a row, all his T's crossed, I's dotted, and that's why he came in there, man, guns blazing, first day.
yeah. Like he didn't have a. I mean, when he became president last time, in all honesty, he didn't have a clue. I mean, he just, and I wouldn't
Right.
either. Okay, you're president. Okay, now what? I mean, so he had that, and he had that 4 years away and seen everything that he could have done, and the destruction of what the Biden administrations did in this country over the last 4 years, and it came in to get done. I mean, I know you've got your thing. We'll talk about that in a minute that you like. I mean, the first I don't even want to jump into, man. Like this stopping the parole, or the refugee people, stopping them coming over. If that's
Yep.
uh, and we talked about this while earlier too. Stopping the border. Like I'm not scared of ICE, man. I mean, I'm not afraid of them at all. I mean, I'm not afraid of any law enforcement at all because I don't, I'm not a threat to them. But well, they're like, oh, ICE is coming into schools. Well, my thinking is I don't have any kids, but if ICE was coming into my school, then there's a reason they need to be in there. I trust them; they know what they're doing. I mean, you got kids, and what do you think on it?
Yeah, man. Same thing. People, especially where I live. I'm in Montgomery, for those who don't know, and there's been a lot of talk on social media the last couple of days, especially about ICE being in Montgomery, and because we have a much bigger Hispanic population than we had in years past. Um, Not exactly sure why that is, but um, they have a much bigger presence now. So apparently they're all worried about, like you said, the schools. Their kids are in school. Is ICE coming to schools? And they're talking about ICE in these neighborhoods doing sweeps. And to be honest, there's been uh no real report, right? Any evidence-based reports of ICE being in Montgomery doing anything at this point. Like in Birmingham, they had ICE raids. In Mobile, they did, but Montgomery hasn't had any issues yet. Well, not issues, but because we need ICE here, but there's no substantial evidence for that. So people are just kind of gaslighting the whole issue and saying using this to say, well, this is why Trump shouldn't have been in office, and he's coming to get all these people who are just want to come here and work, right? When in reality, a lot of these individuals are child predators. You got
No, yeah.
you got drug dealers, you got guys who, I mean, they do hit and runs. In Birmingham, they just got a sweep of 4 guys. No, 12 guys. 3 or 4 were child predators. Another guy did a hit and run in 2010, and then another guy was attempted murder charge. So miss me with the whole they're here to work. All right,
Yeah.
maybe there's some, but clearly not all of them. There's far too many of them that's not here to work. They're here to uh do illegal acts, violent acts on us. All right, so I'm personally glad that they're doing the sweeps, man, nationwide. But we need them. We need them here in Montgomery badly.
I mean, there's programs set up. People, we're a country of immigrants and blah blah blah. Yeah, we are, but there's things that set up for people to come to this country, because they're breaking, they're breaking the law. They're here illegal. I mean, even the ones that's over here
There you
working,
go.
it's not that I don't want to feel that I'm incompassionate or like that, but we got to put Americans first too. It's kind of like Trump got criticized. There's probably a better way of saying it, because we said they're taking black jobs, but I know what he was trying to say. These are taking jobs. Black people would have been working, white people would have been, that other people would have been working that they're over here now taking your place. I mean, even the
Man,
Latinos I know, man. Yeah.
no, I was gonna say what's crazy about that is the black jobs thing, or when they talk about Hispanic jobs. It's okay to talk about, quote unquote black jobs or whatever when it's a black person talking about it. But because it's Trump doing it, that's where the issue comes in. I promise. If any black person got on TV talking about black jobs, if what's the guy name? What's the Van Jones on CNN or
Oh,
whatever he's
Van
on.
Jones.
If Van Jones got on there, with his crying tail, he cried like a little baby on TV. Look, if he gets on there crying about we need black jobs, nobody's gonna be like, man, what do you mean by black jobs? What does that mean? But when Trump does it, that's when it's an issue, right? It's just gaslighting. That's all it is. Um, Same thing with the Hispanics, same thing. They come over here, and true enough, there are a percentage of them that come here and they work. I used to be in management in retail, and I had Hispanic people come work. I worked in the restaurant industry at one point,
Mhm.
and same thing. This room was nothing but Hispanics, right? So true enough, some of them are coming here to get a job, to work. But the problem with that is, even with the problem with them just coming here to work, they're using up our resources. We have other people, Americans, that need jobs,
Mhm.
but we got illegals coming and getting those jobs, and then they're taking the money, and guess where the money's going? Back to
Going
their
back.
home country, back to their home family, wherever they're from, Guatemala, Mexico, El
Yeah.
Salvador, wherever that may be, China, whatever. It is going out of the country. So it's just from top to bottom, from a job standpoint, from economy standpoint, from resources for schooling, education, across the board. We spend as a country, we spend like, what is it, like $500 billion a year, something like that, on illegal immigrants, illegal
Yeah. I
aliens.
mean,
Like, it makes no sense. Why we waste the money on people that they're not from here, they're here illegally.
yeah. I mean, no sympathy. Um, there's no sympathy here with me on that, man. But just it makes no sense. We got people, like that refugee program, man. They was eligible for Social Security if they're 65 the minute they come over here, like job placement and like all this going. What is going on with this? You said that a while ago about Van Jones and the black jobs. You remember when Kamala was? Oh God, I think she was in Did you ever see this speech? I think she was in. Oh God, Georgia, and she was trying to get a fake black female accent, and she was telling you,
Yeah.
you better thank a union member. And I was like, God, this is so insulting, man. And then she was talking about making collards, and she was talking about she put a Tabasco sauce in the collard greens. Like,
Yeah.
what,
She even went as far as to say that she cleans her collard greens in the tub.
She
Man,
said that
look.
she made so many, she put them in the bathtub. And I said,
Man, look, man. I got, I both sides of my family are people from the country, like in
yeah,
the sticks. All right.
yeah.
On my dad's side, which is a black side, and on my mom's side, which is the white side, country folks on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard any of them talk about cleaning collard greens in a bathtub. Like like
Nope.
it's some people they try so hard to be authentically
Yes.
whoever they're talking to, which is what Kamala does. Like she's a chameleon. She wants to represent the people that she's talking to, but she tries so hard that it's just making up stuff. Like it's like a little will go a long way, Kamala. You know what I'm saying? But see, they don't. Her and Hillary don't get that. They go all the way. Oh, like they go up to the line and then cross the line
Like when
with
she
the
brought
with
that
the
Tabasco.
madness. Yeah, hot sauce in the bag. You had Hillary talking about I ain't no ways tired. Like, lady, you are not Martin Luther King in 1968. Like, that's not who you are right now.
Yeah, Hillary brought a bottle of Tabasco or hot sauce with her to one program in there.
Yeah, it was the Breakfast Club on hot 10 hot what is it, hot 105, whatever it is.
Yeah, I never leave without this right here. I mean, and then like what disgusted me, man, is when it didn't last long for a while. They had the white guys for Kamala. I was like, man,
Yeah,
stop that. I mean, you would just go ahead and call it what it is, okay? It's gay guys for Kamala, okay? Because
seriously.
I mean, for real. I mean,
Seriously.
if you see white dudes and they're voting for Kamala Harris, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be gay dudes. I mean, that's just
That's just what it is, man. I mean, I want to say more than that, but we'll keep it PG. But
I
yeah,
mean, am I
they're
wrong on that
definitely
though? I mean,
homosexuals, man.
yeah. I mean, every time I mean, just about everybody like if you I mean, like see black males moving to Republican, Hispanic moving to Republican, and when I see any white male up there, I'm like, well, you're just a little gay dude, man. If you're voting for, and that's another thing too, man. When he came out and said, there's two genders in America, male and female. I was like, hell yes, because I was afraid that we went so far to this woke side that we just wasn't coming back, man.
Yeah, I think at a certain point, you know, anytime things go bad, sometimes things have to go all the way bad, like as almost as far as you can take it, almost to the extreme before it can go back the other way. Because people will get to that point where they have to realize that at a certain point, okay, now we're too far. Like now we're doing like we're doing things that are detrimental to our kids and to our society. So they had to bring us back at a certain point. It had to be brought back. And I
Why?
think finally Trump got to that point where because he was going to the left too now a little bit. Now, see, this is my hangups with him. One of my hangups was in 2021 ish. He had the whole party for the gay people at Mar-a-Lago, right? He was
Yeah, I forgot about
affirming the gay, you know what I'm saying? So he went from that for a couple years there. It was a little iffy, and then now he's come back and he's going in the other direction, right? And so I think maybe even he realized, okay, we're going a little too far with this. Let's bring it back. You
Yeah,
know,
my thing with the gay people is like okay, go live your life or whatever, and stay over there in your. Why are you out there in the streets every day? For 2 months out of a year, June and I think October now. That's the only thing I hear for 2 months, man. From Tide and Downey this past year. Tide, I'm like, why is Tide? Every time I turn around, it's like, why do I have to hear this? Why don't I turn on like TV like CNN? Like you got one commercial about Bacardi or some kind of HIV suppression med, and then the other one about this right here prevents. Like, why? I mean, what if you had a family? How do you explain that to kids and shit, man? I mean,
Yeah, that's just one of those things, man. We like we raise our kids to know God. We raise our kids to respect people, but when you teach your kids about God and about how He wants us to live, and when we live our lives, we should be honoring Him. So
mm-hmm.
you can't honor Him if you're doing things that's outside of His will, that's outside of the boundaries that He has set for us. So we just keep it simple like that. And so I remember, man, when my daughter, my oldest one, was like 2 or 3. Man, we went to a restaurant. I think it was Captain D's, if I'm not mistaken. And the cashier was a female, but she had a guy look to her, right? She looked
Oh
like a
God.
guy. So I remember my daughter, man, she was 2 or 3. Okay. She asked me, is that a boy or a girl? And because she realized, like, okay, I I'm confused. Like, I know what I'm looking at. Is like, I think I know what I'm looking at, but she wanted me to, confirm what she saw. And because she even knew. So like, kids know already. Kids know because society wants us to go in a direction where you can't tell. Well, they want us to believe that they're not roles as it pertains to gender, right? They want
Right.
everybody to be everybody. They want women to just be able to just like do construction and be firefighters and stuff. And it's like, it's not happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not happening. So you can't force it. And so, but kids, they look and they see who's doing what, how people walk, how people talk. And so when people do something outside of the norm, even a 2 or 3 year old is gonna pick up and say, something's a little different here. Let me ask about, get a little clarification about what I'm looking
Yeah.
at, what I'm listening to. So anyway, man, you just keep it simple with kids. They already know anyway. And you just be consistent with it. And like, again, when they see somebody that looks weird, they're not going to disrespect them because they know dad's not going to disrespect them. I'm not going to disrespect somebody that don't disrespect me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, if somebody's doing something that's too outrageous in front of my child, I'm going to let that person know, like, look, you can't be around my child, right? Not disrespecting the person, but look, it's no different than seeing a tranny, right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
say let's say my kid has a birthday party and there's a tranny that's a host. Not gonna happen. They give me another host. All right. If they now, if people have an issue with that, imagine that you're somewhere and then a guy walks up with like bandanas on, tattoos all in his face, just gangbangers. What do you want that around your child? Or you're not gonna be like, hey, you need to walk away or like back up? Like, it's the same difference, right? Same difference.
Right. You want your kid to, yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, speaking of, glad I said that, shout out to our Blunt County Police Department up here. I didn't realize they made several episodes up here, but they're do that new thing now with Chris Hansen. He's got a show out to catch a predator. There's a dude that I
Oh
went to
yeah,
high school
yeah.
with. Dude, I went to high school with, man, and I've known him, 40 something years. Walks into one of these sting houses over here. He was a janitor at the local church, man. That the whole community goes through. He was dating a teacher in the school system, and goes to show up to meet a 15-year-old boy, man, over there to have sex. They walk in there and just bust him. I'm like, I a lot of times, I might sympathize with people or something, but I just love seeing somebody ruin their life over something like that, man, trying to go to
Yeah.
exploit a child.
Yeah, man. I have no, like, I can't imagine like having like a friend of mine, like a person that I really, that's really close to me. Man, if any of them, I don't care who it is, if they ever get caught in something like that, man, you cut off. Like, literally, I'm probably
Oh,
gonna, I might put hands on you before I cut you off, but I'm cutting you off because I'm not putting that. I got kids. I'm not gonna have no weirdo around me and my kids. Like, no.
and the other day, I guess he just because I went there's this about 6 miles away, this little town called Cleveland. They got this little gas station has this little meat and three out there. Whatever, food's great, man. When I go up there and eat, I guess he thought going to a new town would be different. He's walking in, and I was like, oh damn. And when he comes outside, I was like, hey James. And it's
Oh
like,
man.
yeah, you see the embarrassment on his face. Like I was like, why? His mother was a bus driver when we went to school. I'm like, why don't you just do everybody a favor? Just take care. Do this, do away with this yourself, man. Because like what a just disgrace your whole family. But because that's all. Let me do this because you said something a while ago. Let me think about this whole transgender stuff. Like who signed off on like the dude who was swimming down there with the girls? Because like if I had a daughter that was in content, you'd have heard all about that, man. That'd been all you'd heard about it. Everybody would have heard about that. They'd be like, man, that crazy white dude, he came out of those stands because that was just a disgrace to all females out there for that dude to come out there and let him swim with her.
Yeah, I think talking about the guy at Pennsylvania.
It was
Was
in
that it?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Leah Thomas, William Thomas. They call him Leah
Yeah,
Thomas now.
yeah,
Yeah,
William
man.
Thomas.
It's a lot of them guys now, man. Like this guy, it's a guy that was a few guys that played basketball with girls in college. Um, I saw one guy. He's like that dude was in his 40s or 50s. He's like 6'4", like big tall dude, playing ball with young girls in college out there in California, if I'm not mistaken. Some little like small school in California. Yeah, but that's another thing too, man. Like, see, I all this directly relates to me because I do have daughters. They are into sports. They love to compete. And so what's not gonna happen is they're not going to be as they get older, like right now, they're at the age. Well, my oldest one, she's at the age now where they're separated, right? No girls playing boys, nothing like that.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my youngest one, she's 7, and something that she's into right now is wrestling. Well, there's not a lot of girls at her age that wrestle. So, like, she just went to a competition in Birmingham last weekend.
Okay.
Nobody was really there to wrestle her because there's not that many females. But if I put her in the boy bracket, there's boys to wrestle, right?
Ah.
And
Yeah.
at her age, it's not necessarily a difference at that point yet.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's more experienced boys. They may be a little stronger or whatever the case. But just generally speaking, when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, there ain't that much difference physically
Right.
between boys and girls. But when it gets about 10, 11, 12,
Right.
that's when you got cut off. So as she gets older, she definitely not gonna be wrestling a little boy. Um, and playing basketball or anything else that they're into. It's not gonna happen, man. Like you said, I'm gonna definitely, be very loud about it. And people are gonna know there's something wrong with it. And the
Yes.
best thing that can happen is you don't compete, right? If there's a boy in your sport, in a game, you don't compete. And guess what happens? When you don't compete and the whole team says we're not competing, guess what happens? The NCAA or whatever organization that's overseeing it is going to change the rules because they want competition, right? It's very simple.
So let's talk about your thing now. I mean that Trump did away with. I mean DEI, man. We say didn't earn it. I use that use that title all the time. I mean I didn't even know this was a thing until a couple of years ago, man. And I'm like, and now here I'm talking about doing away with this. Like we already have programs in place that protect people from gender, race, age discrimination. So what, do they have a file here like normal hire, DEI hire? What is this, man? I mean,
Well, I'm gonna leave with this right here. What's very interesting is um DEI, the whole purpose is they want to make sure there's more representation of so-called people of color, right? In
uh,
positions. Okay. It's very interesting that if you look up the chief diversity officers like in roles of DEI positions, only 4% are black. Four. 4%. And anybody can look this up. The chief diversity officers nationwide, 4% are black. over 75% are white. About like I think about 11-12% are like Hispanic, something like that. So I mean, what are we doing? Like, I thought we were supposed to be trying to like even the playing field. I thought it should be more like 25%, 30%, something like it should be closer, right? But even in the DEI position, they're not even making any headway. So what's the point again? I mean,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because back, you know, when Trump spoke at Madison Square Garden, and the guy, I can't think of his name, the comedian, he people freaked out because of the jokes that he
yeah.
made.
Was it
And
Andrew? Was it Andrew Schultz?
no, I thought the guy's name was Tony. He was the one that said Puerto Rico, the island, it was a floating garbage, floating
Yeah,
island of
yeah,
garbage.
yeah,
He said that about Latinos, whether the sexual, and I got to thinking about that, and because everybody, and I said, I'm so sick. I said, if the Latinos or the Puerto Ricans were offended by that, then I'm open to hearing their plight. Or he made some remarks about black guys and Shay and lampshades, and I'm open to hearing that. But I'm so sick of white people telling me what they're offended by. Somebody saying about some other group, okay, they're offended by this and this and this. White people are offended by everything they say about every other group. I want them to sit down and shut up. And if minorities are offended, I'll listen to them. Because back when
yeah.
somebody said one time in one of the groups was somebody called Kamala something, some kind of African hyena or something. So, are you gonna put up with this racism? I said, I got to plead ignorance here. Right? What is they said? Well, they called her this. I said, I've never heard that term before. Okay, so we just applying stuff as it fits. I said, racism means that she is inferior because of the color of her skin. So I don't see that there. You can't just loosely
Right,
apply that.
right.
So yeah. Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that you said that the white people are the ones that sitting on this DEI
Yeah,
board.
crazy.
I mean, because they're the ones. So you talked Montgomery. You was talking about that earlier. So what's going on down there, man? You said
Oh yeah, man. So in Montgomery, we got this museum called the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts.
mm-hmm,
Okay, and pretty big deal down here. Um, well, there was a billboard or multiple billboards put up of depicting the same thing, and what they're showing on the billboard is Bloody Sunday, right? So that's when the state troopers, the police back in the 60s or
mm-hmm.
whatever year that was, were facing off against the, black people and all that stuff, right? And across the billboard, right, in front of the Bloody Sunday scene, it says "Make America Great Again,"
Oh
right?
God.
So of course there was backlash. All right. These billboards are up and down I-65 or wherever they are, I-85, 65. Um, so there was a lot of fuss made about it. And so people did some digging. I got sent some information. Somebody said this is the lady who did it. Her name is Sydney Jarman. And basically her thing is she's a marketer, right? She does marketing. She's been apparently in the past, the last couple years, she was with the cultural affairs department for the city. Um, and then she got let go from whatever position she was holding with that, doing marketing. So now she's with the marketing side for the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. Now, they saying that she alone had these billboards put up with the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts stamp on it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the people at the museum say we didn't know anything about it. All right, they don't know anything about it. Don't know how it got passed through. Don't know how they got okayed. Because we're talking about thousands. It costs money to put billboards up. It's not
Right. That's what I was
cheap.
thinking. There.
Yeah. So the question was, who did it? We figured that out. And then it's like, okay, how did she do it? Like, who allowed her to do it? So now they're at that point where nobody knows anything past she's the one that did it. And she's taking ownership of it. So we know she did it. But it's just, when you look at her, I did a little research on her, went to her Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And the lady is just about pushing black everything, right? If it's not black, it ain't real. It ain't right. It's missing something. It's gotta be black, right? So That's what she pushes. And people have already been gaslighting the whole "Make America Great Again" slogan, right? That's been talked about since 2016, 2015 when Trump
Yeah.
was saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Make America Great Again." Like, when was it ever great? Or, they love to say, they want to take us back to 200 years ago, 150 years ago.
Yeah.
And so her doing that is just causing division, right? It was such a mess that even the Mayor Stephen Reed, Mr. Gaslighter himself, Mr. Flame Igniter, when it comes to race, even he came out and said he's ordering that those billboards be taken down immediately. That is not the type of division that he wants to see done, right? And he wanted to find out, why it was done. So even he said that.
Yeah, especially the ones who are the who claim they're the uniters, they're always the dividers. Just like with Van Jones, man. I mean, he's crying. He's always he's giving these heartfelt soliloquies, and it's like it's just like just shut up, man. Just shut up. It didn't work this time. He said the too big to rig. I mean, oh, there's a thing about that unite. Every one of them, man. I mean, they're always trying to bait people, uh, and that's why I hate listening. You notice right now CNN's ratings, they're now below RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
So what else we got going on? We got I think we just about covered everything nationally, statewide. We're getting ready for I guess everything depends on what Senator Tuberville is going to do next time. Um, if
Yep.
he runs for re-election or not. Oh, one other thing. Oh yeah, talk about that. Sure. Why? So why do you think we've seen such the big? Oh, oh yeah. This was we've seen this right here too. I was so glad to see men come back and vote for President Trump because we've seen the media and left make it almost like a or try to emasculate men. I mean, did you pick up on
Yeah.
this?
Absolutely. Man, there was so much finger pointing going on, man. When Kamala ran, it was like they automatically wanted, she already got the women were on board, right? Um, she got the black women vote went her way like 94% or something ridiculous. That was in the bag. But because there was some pushback when it came to the men, it was so bad that Obama had to come out and say, "Hey, brothers, we need you guys to come to the table and get behind this sister." And I don't like the way y'all turning your back on her. Like, turning our back on her. First of all, she's not black. That's number one. Number two, you found one of the worst candidates that y'all can even put up. So don't get mad when the men have the common sense to not support her in such great numbers. She still got like 84%, 85% of the black male vote. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Oh no, it was like 75%. Cause it was like 20
Yeah,
some percent that went
yeah.
Trump way. So I mean, she still got the majority. I mean, it still wasn't close. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was 60-40 or 55
But that's still a
45.
big put. That's still a
Yeah, it's
big
still a
move,
huge
man.
gap. But that's
But
how in
man,
shambles the Democrat Party is. If they lose 2% of their base, it's like the world's coming to
yeah,
an end. You know,
yeah.
it's crazy. On the Republican side, it's
Uh, con-
much more even. The margins are way more even when it comes to the white vote, right? It's very even. With the black vote, Republicans not getting that. Like, to be real, the black vote didn't make or break the whether Trump won or not. It didn't do it. Um, Now maybe if you couple the black vote with the Hispanic vote, which also he got like
yeah.
Trump got like 50 or 60% of the Hispanic male vote. Now maybe you're talking about moving the needle a little bit, but just the black vote alone don't make a difference.
Yeah, when you factor in, like, say, in a state like Georgia, and I think in 4 years ago, and I'm saying this for example, I think Trump got 7% of the black vote, and then he got
Yeah,
12% this time. And then if you
Yep.
say, okay, and then he got 50% of the Hispanic vote, and he won the state by 100,000. Okay, now you're into, a few hundred votes here, a few hundred votes there. You're talking about changing the state. But yeah, just that
Yeah.
alone. Yeah. I mean, but still, it says a lot about because, and that to me was like, I watched that and when I seen Brock come out there, which to me, Brock was not black either because, he having a father from, Kenya. How did he relate to, your generational, black folks who's been over here? But anyway, but him coming out there and
Yeah.
saying, hey, brothers, we got to support her. And he's got his $500 shirt on and his, $600 pair of slacks and his $300 pair of shoes. I'm like, dude, who are you? Who are you relating to? Meanwhile, Trump's over there, no taxes on tips, uh, no taxes on overtime, no tax on This is speaking to the masses here, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's that it was really it was a lot of pushback behind Obama coming out and saying what he said. And if anything, it hurt the Democrats even more. If he had just been quiet, or maybe if his approach was different, it may would have helped them a little bit. But by him coming out and talking the way he talked, was talking down to, black men, quote unquote.
Yeah,
Um,
he
it
was.
it, it just it was worse. It was worse. Man, their whole campaign on the Democrat side was a dumpster fire from the beginning. I mean, even when Biden said he was running again, from that point on, it never got on track. To be honest, the best momentum they had was when they first named Kamala the
Right.
new running a person for their ticket, and she got all this donation money came in, and they were like, "Oh, this is great. It's a woman. She's black. Wonderful. We're gonna do it." And then about 2 or 3 weeks in, reality struck, right? Because it was like, okay, America's not ready. America don't want this. So,
like like you said, I heard some guy who's like, this is like 2008 all over again. I was like, no, it's not. Don't even,
oh
you know,
man,
don't even compare her to Barack Obama. It's like you said when, well, she's over there in one of these countries, and they, because hey, I feel you, man. I mean, there's gender roles. There's jobs for a female and there's jobs for a male, and people are, they're going to say, well, I don't like that. Well, they don't see. Talking about the DI stuff, Dallas, they're not pushing the Dallas Cowboys to get more female linebackers or, more white middle-aged linebackers like me,
right?
but, like I said, there's gender roles, there's things that a man does. And people, like, I don't know if, I'll ever be comfortable with a woman president, because when
Yeah,
we're over there, like you said, when they're over there in one of these, um, countries and they got a Muslim leader or whatever, one of these kings, and that's going to be an insult. What'd you say? How'd you say
it
that?
is, man. They gonna be like, "What is your president? I came here to meet the president." And she's like, "Hey," she's like, I'm the president," or whatever. And then he be like, I mean, he might cuss. He might be like, B, no, you're not
Who
the
is
president. No
this?
way. No way.
Who is this little
You bring a
female?
man here now. Like,
Yeah,
it's not gonna,
they're like,
it won't go very well.
yeah, they're one of the guys in that group. So his little young, little, I think his name's Nicky. He used to put these posts in there. He goes, you know, he's just like a president. He's supposed to have he called her a clucking duck and said, a president's supposed to have a deep voice and he's supposed to sound like
Yeah.
and look like a man. You remember that thing from the old Mad TV, looking like a man. Said,
Yep.
because like I said, can you imagine her out there on the, speaking on 9/11? I mean, I wrote some on that. Can you see her out there with a bullhorn trying to compare the people? I mean, um, she couldn't
Man,
get through a interview with Dana Bash.
man, the lady is never serious, man. Like, how many times have we seen her in an interview not laughing and giggling and just chuckling and just like that? Like, they're asking her real questions about, what are you going to do for the country? We're in a bad place right now, and all she did was laugh. Like, imagine her talking to a foreign dignitary. You know what I'm saying, about something serious, a war or something, and she's laughing and smiling, and that's not gonna be taken well. Other cultures don't appreciate, like, some cultures, they don't smile very much, right? They just don't.
Or imagine
Asian
Vladimir Putin
countries.
could have
A lot of
crossed over.
Asians don't smile a whole lot. They're very serious. It's very conservative. They're very, it's very just to the let's get the business done. It's not about all that extra whatever. So it's an insult when you do certain things to certain people around the world.
And the one that I guess that was so sickening to me is like her picking Tampon Tim as her running mate. I'm like, dude, you sit there and you let who I call them burn, loot, murder, burn down Minneapolis for 4 days. And you sit there, I mean, try that in the South and see what one of these Southern governors do. You want to burn down a city? Hey, watch this. We're fixing the National Guard in there and we're going to crush that shit. I mean, there's no way that I would have
That's
let
a
that go.
fact.
I mean, in fact, the thing too, if that happened, like, I don't think that, like, even in one of our southern cities that are inner city, that would allow that to happen because everybody's armed down there. Like, hell no, you're not fixing to burn this shit down. I mean, I don't ever
Nah,
understand that.
man.
Read about that
You know,
happening.
it only, there's certain cities that, a Birmingham, a Montgomery, Jackson, Mississippi, like there's certain cities that are majority liberal cities, but like it would go so far, but the state would come in, right? The state would come in because Mississippi is a Republican state, Alabama's a Republican state,
Oh yeah,
so like the city leaders would probably allow to go so far, but then the state would come in because of the state being red. So like, to make your point, it's not gonna go down in the South. It wouldn't be that way. We're not gonna be like Seattle, Chicago, Minneapolis. We're not gonna be like those type of places because those places have governors who agree with the nonsense. We don't have those type of governors down here,
yeah,
thankfully.
because you are at the end of the day as a governor, you are responsible for the safety of your citizens. And when you have people going up there and destroying other people's stuff, because like I said, you would have never heard of Kyle Rittenhouse, which you know, I'm still surprised they haven't got him on a talk show, having his own the Kyle Rittenhouse show, for
Yeah,
well, there's like, and people still crying about that. Well, look, bottom line is don't chase the kid with an AR-15 and attack him, and and go up there to protest, burning people's shit up, and you won't be dead. I just that's the common sense approach that I guess I'm wanting us to have, man, because I don't have sympathy for these people anymore, or never did really for that. Um,
that's right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I know. It was appalling to me that Kyle Rittenhouse had to even go to trial to defend himself. Like it just was, it's just that's politics, man. It's politics. And the same thing, it's funny how people say that, when they took Trump to trial, that, oh, it's not politicized, it's not political at all, whatever. Man, it's the same thing that y'all did to Derek Chauvin and with the whole so-called neck knee on the neck or whatever. He never had his knee on the man's George Floyd's neck. Never happened. But that was what they wanted everybody to believe. And so they railroaded him, got him locked up. Then Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself. They tried to put him in jail. And then the same thing is political. The same thing with Trump when they took him to trial and found him guilty of 34 counts of felony. And I asked people about, hey, what did Trump do? Like, what was his felony for? Every person I asked, they're like, they don't know, right? But they always get real defensive and say, but he did it though. But what did he do? What did he do? Like, they don't know. But it's just, man. I
Derek
always tell
Chauvin,
people, huh?
go ahead, go ahead.
What I was gonna say, I always tell people about politics, man. Politics is so important to always. I don't care what level that it is, local, state, federal. Be involved politically because this is the way that you get things done. This is the way you push policy. This is the way you push certain bills through. You get certain laws passed or laws changed or whatever the case. This is how you do it. And you got to be aware of who you're putting in office, right? We just dealt with 4 years of Biden and Harris administration. And we see where we are as a country, as a nation, right? Now we got
Yeah,
Trump in there and we're going to watch it in the next probably about the next year, you're gonna start seeing a bunch of things start to change on a bigger level. Politics matter. It matters all the way.
talk about Derek Chauvin for a minute, man. That's talk about him. That's the
Yeah.
biggest political prisoner I think I've ever, you know, um, Well, somebody pointed this out to me when it first happened, and he goes, "Look, this video went for 9.5 minutes. Somebody don't choke to death for 9.5 minutes." And I was like, "Yeah, that's true. I mean, they made this if the officer would have been black or if Floyd would have been white, this would have never been on the TV, man. You know, you'd never heard about that. The media made that into so. I think the other four prisoners, the other four cops there, training cops, they tried those guys too.
They did. They did. I know there was an Asian cop. I won't say an Asian cop. I won't say there was a black cop there, and I think another white cop. Um, so it's like you have well represented people of all colors or whatever involved in this, and it's like, why are you making it a racial thing when there's a cop that looks like looks like George Floyd standing right there? There's an Asian
I mean,
cop standing there.
what?
It's the weirdest stuff. And the guy who was with George Floyd when he gave the counterfeit bill and stuff, he was there. He's black. He didn't die. He didn't get thrown to the ground, nothing. You know why that happened? Because he wasn't acting the fool. As a matter of fact, he was trying to get George Floyd to, hey man, just comply, man. Stop fighting. He was even trying to help him. It's like, dude, what are you doing? So for them to frame it the way that they framed it to make it seem like it's a racist cop killing an innocent black guy, when there's another black guy who was with George Floyd that had nothing happened to him. It's not
You
about
know,
the race. It's about what the way they wanted you to see the situation.
one thing that I've seen is yeah, there's one of those few instances, but 99.99%. If you comply, you're not gonna get shot, or you're not. Nothing's gonna happen if you comply. Yeah, there's some things that we've seen that situations turn bad, but for the most part, like I've been stopped a couple of times. And I tell them I got a firearm with me, and never have a problem with it. Um, but I want them to know too, man. I had one of the days, so they goes, "Well, where is it?" I said, "He goes, well, as long as you don't get yours." He said, "I'm not gonna get mine." I was like, there's no, we're good then, man. Um,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Especially if the cop is pulling you over, let's say you've been speeding, right? He pulls you over
yeah,
for speeding. He's not worried about the gun. Like he's not, that's not something that he's worried about. He's just pulling you over like, hey man, you speeding or whatever. Did you realize you're going this fast? Oh no, I didn't realize it. Well, let me get your ID. All right, cool. Here's my ID. What else you need? Insurance. Oh, got that too. Here you go. Like, as long as you're just giving what they need to get the job done, I mean, if you want to refute what they pulled you over for, you got court. Go to court and refute it. But in that moment, you're not gonna win, right?
yeah.
So
At that
no matter
point, you
what you
got
do, you're not gonna win. They're gonna win. So just get them what they need, and like you said, they're gonna go about their way, and they're not gonna even worry about even if you got a gun. Like you can tell them, hey, I got a pistol, just to let you know, but they're gonna be like, oh, like he told you, hey man, you don't pull yours, I won't pull mine. We good.
yeah,
Like
like at that point, I can
it's
yell
so
at them
simple.
about the ticket, scream, but that's not gonna do any good. Just take your ticket and go on, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
because it's not gonna do you any good. It just makes you look, you know, makes me look better. The bigger person. Take my. That's what I said. All right, you drive safe, man. Or I'm gonna back the blue guy. I want them to come home, safe to their family.
That's right.
Anything else? I was gonna touch on this. Let's see. Oh yeah, one thing too. I forgot. What about when Trump said, um, we gave that canal back to Taiwan, Panama. We didn't give it to China. By the way, we're taking that back too.
Man, oh man. America is back when your president tells another country, hey man, look, we paid for that. Y'all have not done us right for the last how many years. We taking that back. That's ours. Like,
He didn't
oh man,
ask.
like man, like they right there. We got a man in there. A man is
Yeah,
in there.
a man.
A man among men, right? Like he's just not, you know, he's not a pushover, man. He's not a pushover, and he means business. And these other countries, they know he means business. That's how you know America is back.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't ask. He didn't say we was going to negotiate. He said, "Yeah, and we're taking that back." I just he told we're taking that back. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, you can't stop. You know, we're taking that back. I mean, it's like when he said that, I said, God damn. I mean, but like that, and then like they was having that. Did you see where they was over there in Europe, and they was having that Zoom call, and then Trump just showed up there, hovering in the room in that Zoom call. It was talking about
No, I didn't see that.
oh yeah, I was telling those people that we're having an American first policy where we're putting America first on everything, and it's like we've got all these I don't know how we ever got to this situation, man, where uh where we're at because we're such an economic superpower with all these resources and these military sources that you know we should be living like kings. And Trump said that in an open interview that we should be living like kings. And I think
As
that
a
I'm
fact.
hoping he's got us that because people are talking about last as of midnight last night, tariffs went into effect on Canada, Mexico, and China. And I hear people yelling, and I don't, I know we had tariffs in the past. I'm not an economist, and people are yelling, well, that's going to cost Americans everything a lot. Well, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I know this: every time he threatens tariffs, these other countries start kowtowing to what he's saying. So there's something to be said with that. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Well, you saw that Canada's Trudeau just got done talking about, well, since you guys are going to tariff us, we're going to tariff you guys too. Like, look, I can't wait to now. I want to go read. I didn't go and read into it, but I saw the headline was like Trudeau says that they're gonna put tariffs on us too. Okay, Canada. Let's make sure we got something straight here. If you guys ever get into any issue with any other country, guess who's gonna have your back? Guess who? Matter of fact, guess who's not gonna mess with you because of us, right? If y'all is on your own, y'all getting spanked by just about the whole world. Y'all don't have no military. Like, who y'all gonna be? Y'all only exist because America is here for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he better saying that you gonna try to like one up us. That ain't gonna work, man. I can't wait to see what Trump got to say about that. That's
We're
crazy. He talking
we're
crazy up
arguing
there in
over
Canada,
a trade
man.
partner. Like we could just cut. I mean, they need. Yeah, we'll just have. Like I said, they're not going to want to. Trump on this. I can't wait to see what he says on it either. I mean, Canada. Like Trump mentioned something the other day about having this joint, economic super trade thing with Canada in it. Like, you know, Trudeau needs to shut up, man, because Trump could have this thing set up where we could be on this huge like economic boom, man. That's what I'm looking at for the next 4 years.
Yeah. And that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. He's getting there. Like they already started drilling. They already drilling for our own oil reserves. So gas prices are gonna be coming on down. Um, I mean, we're gonna see everything from the bottom up change. Everything's gonna change. I said, like, give it about a good year, and we'll start really seeing the fruit of the labor that's
Oh
starting
yeah,
right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a little while, but he's already doing the things that he said he would do. Fracking, uh, you know, drilling for our own oil reserves, making sure that we're exporting oil to other countries and making that money. And also, we're using our own, so we're not bringing in other countries' oil and making gas prices high because they got a war over there in the Middle East somewhere. Like, just do common sense things, man, and it's gonna start changing for the better. It definitely is.
you seen where there was like or $200 billion, $100 or $200 billion investment from some bank, and then the Saudi Arabia is doing a $700 billion investment in the U.S. economy. That's almost $1 trillion. And they said
Instantly.
it was going to create all the it's going to eventually create these $100,000 pay. Now that's a lot of investments coming in that we're getting.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I've been calling it the Trump effect. It's the Trump effect. Like, these countries were not interested in doing these type of deals with America when it was Biden, right? We've never heard them talking about they want to talk to Biden about this and that. They know the man's half dead. But as soon as Trump gets elected, like instantly, before the man even got sworn in, before he even got inaugurated, they already were reaching out. Hey man, we want to stop this war over here, Russia, Ukraine. Let's come to the table. Let's talk. Um, Israel,
Hamas.
Palestine. So let's come to the table. Um, even like China wanted to come to the table about Taiwan. You had North Korea with South Korea. That issue was going on. Like I haven't heard anything more about that. So it's the Trump effect. So likewise with all these wars, you got these countries that are saying, okay, he's in there. Now let's come to the table and let's talk about some money, some trade deals. Because we know we can make things happen with Trump. It's an awesome thing to watch, man. I promise.
Oh man, I mean, I'm loving because I don't ever remember a president except Reagan, but not like this. I mean, not just flexing the United States economic and military muscle. Like we like we run this, so let's make everybody know that we run this. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Uh,
That's right.
I mean, I don't know why we've ever gotten this stuff where we've like feel like we have to play nice or we have to be equal to the rest of the world. I mean, like I hate to say it, but screw these people, man.
Um, especially when it's screw them, especially when we're providing their security. These other countries in Europe and Canada and other places, they exist and they are the superpower that they are, or the power that they have is based on them having us as big brother. If they didn't have America backing them, it'd be over for a lot of these countries. To like let's keep it real, So for them to have the audacity to be talking about we need to provide them with this type of money and give them this many billions of dollars and all that stuff, and you know, and just expect that to happen, they take it for granted. That's over with. With
Like,
Trump, that's over with. No, they don't take it for granted. If you gonna have us protect you and give you money and fund you and stuff, then you got to do things to help us out too. This ain't gonna be a one-way street like it's been. So
like,
it's like, so in that vein, it's screw them, because all that screwing over us is over with.
like we NATO should be paying us. We should not have to be putting out one penny
Absolutely.
to have any of our forces over there. I mean, not like I'm saying we're paying, so much, but like no, absolutely not. I mean, oh, another thing too, I got to think about this too, which pisses me off. Talking about the gay community a while ago, and we said about Palestine. Have you seen them walking around with these flags about free Palestine or whatever, or stop the genocide? Like, man, you know what the Hamas would do to them?
Man, they throw them off a building, man. They'll
I
tie
mean,
a rope around their neck and throw them off a building. That's what they would do.
I,
Like,
I
and
mean,
not
yeah,
even think twice. And then they'll celebrate. They'll go pop whatever they drink over there. I don't know how they celebrate, but whatever they do to celebrate, they gonna go celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
that's what they do over there. Like they're not playing.
Yeah, I mean, like that this whole stuff about negotiating. Yeah, they got this negotiating with them. It's only ever going to be a while though, because those people they don't understand or put the value on life like we do here. They're raising their new generation to kill Jews, and there's no negotiating with that.
That's right. Absolutely, man. I feel like when it comes to Hamas and that whole Palestine deal, um, at a certain point, they love to say that Israel is the aggressors because whatever they taking land and whatever the case is. Um, but there's peace coming from the Israel side. It's been that way for a long time. The Palestine side is the side that's always on the offensive, right? And then when they get hit back a little harder than they hit, then they want to whine and cry and say, "Oh, Israel, they're trying to eradicate us and stuff." Well, you're giving them a reason to even want to do that, because everything will be fine, and then the Palestine side will be the one that attacks. You
Yeah,
can't expect them to not hit you back, and just because you get hit back harder, I mean that's just how it goes. Like you can't set the parameters for war when you start it. Like
I mean, you go over there and kill those kids in that October thing, and then you know you want to say, oh well, we only killed X amount and they've killed 10 times that. They need to stop. No, that's not how this works. Sorry, I don't have any sympathy for you.
right, right, and they want to say, oh, it's just Hamas. Hamas is the only, bad guys or whatever. It's not all Palestine. I can't tell because
Yeah.
when's the last time? It's a million people there, right? Is there not I've been told there's like a million people in Palestine or whatever. That's you know peaceful people. They don't want war and stuff. Okay, when's the last time those people took over Hamas and said, look, y'all don't represent us. We're not about all that killing and all that death that y'all are about. When is the last time that happened? Never heard of it.
It was before. I mean, it's been. I mean, you're talking about 20 years before when Arafat or whatever it was. Wasn't that hit? What Palestinian Liberation Organization? I think that was his party was in power. I think it's been it's like this has been a never-ending cycle ever since I've been a kid. Of something going on with Palestine, the Muslims, and the Jews, and just one vicious cycle after another, and then
Yep.
you've got, I mean, involvement all through the Middle East. I mean, the world, like the world's in such a situation right now. I mean, now we got President Trump and all this. Hopefully, things are going to calm down because we could have easily been in a three-front war with what was going on in the Middle East and China and Taiwan and Russia and Ukraine.
Absolutely. It was rough. It was getting rough there for a minute. It was coming to that point where people were really considering World War III. Like it was really getting to that point. And then, thankfully, Trump is in there now. So, history tells us that back when he was president last time, we didn't get into any new wars. We had a couple of things. Look, a couple of things happened. We had to spank a couple of hands. We had to put tap a couple guys,
Yeah,
Iran or whoever, a couple times here and there, but nothing escalated to a war under
yeah. I
Trump.
mean that was him letting them know, hey, if
Exactly.
you if you don't, if you keep on, this stuff we're fixing to tear a whole bunch of stuff up. I mean, this last 4 years, man, I hear people talk about it's not been that bad and stuff in the economy. And like, I paid the other day, last Monday, I think, I paid $14, well, $13.83 for a 6-inch Subway sandwich, chips, and a drink.
Man,
I mean, that would be
wow.
$60 for a family of four at Subway, man. I was like, and it wasn't even one of those steaks subs either, man. It was like a cold cut, like roast beef, ham, and turkey or something like that.
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous everywhere too. It's just eggs, man. Eggs are like I don't know, man. $7 a dozen or something crazy. It's something crazy right now.
Is that what they are? Because
Man,
I
they
hear
are crazy expensive.
because that was one of the big I don't obviously I don't buy eggs. I've not even looked at them, but that was one of the things in this 2020 race that people kept mentioning was the price of eggs, and and then I see people living here in the country. I drive by and I see these signs up that say eggs, fresh eggs, $3 for a dozen, and I'm guessing I had no idea that was $7. I mean, really, that's $7 a dozen?
Yeah, man. It depends on where you go, but yeah, they're high, bro. Like $6, $7. I seen some places, California, I think they're like 10.
Damn,
It's
man,
crazy, but all that goes. The egg thing goes back to the Biden administration. They killed like 100 million chickens. They took out 100
yeah,
million chickens, so that's
I
caused
forgot.
a shortage of eggs. Why the prices done gone up?
I forgot about them and the killing. What they kill all those chickens for? Because
They said it
bird.
was some kind of outbreak or something. I don't know what it was, man. Some type of illness.
I forgot about them killing all them chickens.
Yeah, they killed like a
Okay.
hundred million of them, man.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if that's why. Like, I went to, go to Waffle House, man. That All Star Special, like whatever meat and eggs and stuff. It's like, it's
Yep.
like $12. It's like $12 now, man. I mean, I can remember when it was 5.50.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully things will start trending. We're already at a point where inflation has gone up so much. because they were printing money and stuff during the Biden administration. So much money got printed. Some of it even got printed when Trump was in office, right before he left.
Yeah, he
Um,
passed some kind of thing right before he left.
yeah. So I mean, thing about me is I'm gonna keep it real across the board. I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm not a Trump loyalist. You know what I'm saying? Like I can
Yeah,
call out when he does something that I don't like. And I didn't think it was a good idea to be printing money, doing all the stimmy checks and stuff. I didn't agree with that when he was doing it. I said I didn't agree with it. And as a result of him doing the print money, and then the Biden administration came in and printed way more money. We're at a point now where the price of things is gonna be higher anyway. Like price of a car, price of getting buying eggs and just daily things is gonna cost more. But hopefully with Trump in there, it'll level out. It'll come down to as low as it can be. Um, but it's just gonna be it's an uphill battle.
yeah, I
Once you
knew.
make things go way up, it's hard to bring them down really
Oh
fast.
yeah,
So you know,
yeah. I mean, it's hard to bring the prices down. I have noticed some small falls, decreases, but yeah, I knew when he did that, man, in his administration, they was passing that bill and sent a lot of money to them Germany and England, but I knew it was like you you can't just keep printing. They don't make. There's no such thing as free money, man. They don't make free money. You just can't keep printing it. I knew something was gonna, that was gonna pay for it later, and you've seen it. I mean,
yep.
it's like, uh, I mean, I just, there's no end in sight. I mean, as far as like, well, I mean, there is. But I mean, is it ever gonna go like is the situation ever going to catch up to where a lot of people's talking about, oh, well, wages have increased, 18%. Well, yeah, but when inflation's gone up 32%, you just took, 14% pay cut.
Yep. There you go, man. There you go. It has to be, we have to let the free market do what the free market does, and then things will even out. The problem is the government is uh doing what it wants to do to try to stimulate the economy, or they're trying to, you know, make these minimum wages and like mandate minimum wage at this point and stuff. When you do things like that, when you try to control everything on at the government level, it messes up the rest of the economy. So things are off balance where your dollar doesn't go as far. Right. So like you said, if you're gonna be paying more for just to live life, pay bills for rent, for power bills and stuff, if you're gonna pay those bills and everything, and but your income is not increasing to match the inflation, then what are we doing? Like that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to kind of go kind of in tow, right? If your wage go up, then you're able to pay for everything. Not everything go up over what you make. That doesn't make any sense. It's
One,
insane.
one thing I've learned, I heard somebody talking about one time we didn't, shouldn't be laws on minimum wage, and yeah, I didn't know really how I felt about that. But what I'm saying now is every place out there is hiring, they're paying like, starting off pay is 11.50, $12 an hour. So, you know, even though our minimum wage is what, seven and a quarter or whatever, the market has
Yeah,
adjusted to where nobody's even paying what the minimum wage is. So I see what he's saying. There's not even a need for it if we allow the free market economy to do what it's supposed to do and not put any kind of hindrance on it.
that's it. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen is don't need a federal minimum wage. You don't need the government to make that. Like like you said, the free market will decide what people are worth, and people will take a job that they feel that the pay is right for them. They'll take the job. If the pay is not good enough, and the place don't want to negotiate anything higher, then they'll go elsewhere. It's just, and then companies will learn like what you need to pay. It's just weird that we have to depend on the government for so much. The problem is when you have too much government, the government gets too big, it doesn't help the rest of us. It just doesn't. So and we're seeing that in real time, but people need to connect the dots of the reason why things are more now is because of what we did a few years ago. Like now is the effects of that. So hopefully people are waking up and seeing this because we're living it right now. It's not like we're talking about something that happened back in the 70s and 80s. We're talking about something that just happened 4 or 5 years ago, and because of decisions that got made, here we are looking at what we're looking at.
Yeah, so we don't. I mean, we need to just adapt, improvise, overcome. Learn from the mistakes that we've made on this right here. Take regulations off. And I forgot how many Trump's taken off already. Just like I said, let it work its own because when you start going in there, that's what the Soviets do, man. Command economy, and um, if we
Mm-hmm.
if we let it run its own volition, everybody's going to make money off of it. So what
That's
else?
right.
What time's the Super Bowl come on, man? I just realized that's today. Uh,
Oh snap! Are you right?
yeah. Um,
Oh
I,
man,
yeah. So
bro, I haven't been keeping up with it too much, man. All I know is the Eagles are playing the Chiefs, and
yeah,
the Chiefs gonna win. That's all I know.
I've quit keeping.
And I'm not a Chiefs fan, by the way. I'm a Packers fan, so I don't want
That's
Chiefs to
what I
win. I
thought.
don't care who wins, but I just know the Chiefs gonna win. It's just that's gonna go.
I used to be a big college fan, but now with this NIL, I can't watch that anymore than paying players, $5-6 million college players to come out there and play. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, the game is different now, man. The game is just different.
I mean, there's no.
They've changed the game on that level. They moved the conferences around. There's no more Pac-12. The Big Ten is huge. The SEC is huge. It's 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 they've tried to even out everything is what they're trying to do, trying to more even it out. But what's happened is now everything is top heavy. So every champion, mark my words, every champion moving forward, the next decade, every champion is going to be a Big Ten team or an SEC team. That's it. There's not going to be any other conference that's winning a championship in the next decade, at
Well,
least.
here's another one for you. In the next decade, and I'll probably say the next 5 years, there ain't gonna be any other conference. There's gonna be one super conference. The SEC, just like uh, Darwinism, is going to take over everybody. Until soon, the SEC and the Big 12, and
Yeah,
they're going to merge it. They'll merge into one conference. That's what I think is going to happen because eventually,
yeah, yeah.
I
It,
mean, you
which there's things that they can do, in my opinion, to even things out. But you'd have to get rid of the whole putting in the Power Five with the Group of Five, right?
yeah,
You can't have teams like SMU competing with the Alabamas and like you can't have that. You need to have SMU competing against Troy, your Tulane, those
right,
type of schools,
yes.
Cincinnati, those type of schools. Have them in their own deal. You know what I'm saying? Have them in
That's
their
what's going
own
to happen. You're
deal,
going to have,
and then you
mhm.
have the big boys playing against the big boys. And to me, it'll be fairer across the board. But
Yeah,
it
like the
just
mid
isn't right now.
majors.
It just is, and
Yeah,
it can't be. You can't make those teams, those schools, be able to compete. You just can't do it.
I mean, well, with the NIL now, if you come in there and say you're Sam Walton or you're Jerry Jones in Arkansas, and you go to the Sam, what's his name, Pittman at Arkansas, and you give him, say, here's $50 million, go buy me a team, win a championship. I mean, if I got that, I mean, are you gonna be able to find the people to put forth the money to do that? I mean,
See, I mean, to a certain extent, I think you can do it. For Arkansas, you may be able to do it, but for Arkansas State, you can't do it. You see what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah, they may get a couple good players, but that's not gonna put them over the hump of competing against an Arkansas, competing against a Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama. This is not gonna do it. So,
Well, see, with
um,
the NIL though, if I've got $50 million and you've got 10, and I can go out here and I can buy this player. Hey, come play for me. $3 million.
yep. I mean, yeah, you can. But what I'm saying is, if Arkansas State, for example, right, a smaller
Yeah.
school, Sun Belt Conference, if Sam Walton or whoever, some big time person that's got billions of dollars, if they say,
Uh,
hey man, I give you the program, y'all here $50 million, go out here and get the best players. Even doing that, they're not going to be able to still compete against the big boys, because guess what? The big boys got guys that's billionaires too, and they going out here buying the good players too. So it's the only way that you can bring up the Arkansas States of the world is like the DEI thing, right? The only way that you do it is if you discriminate just for them. If they said, hey, Arkansas State, Tulane, SMU, y'all can go, we'll give y'all a cap of y'all can use $100 million and go get the best team, best players. But Alabama and Georgia, y'all can't use 100 million. Now y'all can only do 15 million. Then you might have a difference, right? Because
right.
you're forcing a difference in money. But as it stands, those big schools, Texas is still a $1 billion program. Georgia is still worth like $500 million.
Yeah,
Auburn's
yeah.
still worth 400 some $1 million. Like, so with all that being the same, even still, the NIL is not going to change the scope of the game to that level.
Right, right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot something you said a while ago. I want to touch on too. He's talking about
Yeah.
Congressman Brooks said something a while back. He was talking about the Democrats and what they do is they focus on group uh, politics. You know how most of us are Republicans and conservatives. We're freedom loving Americans, and like I may not agree with whatever these people are doing over here, but go do you do you, man, and I'll leave you alone. But what they do is they focus on these people where they go to vote in the polls just because they're gay or just because they're Hispanic or just because they're abortion. They just focus issue driven people. And I was like, man, that's brilliant right there. That the Democrats, are able. I can't believe their coalition's holding together, but it's smart politics. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. They've been able to they've been able to pretty much have free reign to run their whole program through identity. Like they've really set themselves up for this, because if you look back, the Democrats of the 70s, 80s, whatever, 90s, those Democrats were a lot more down the middle, so more
Yeah,
so. So it was about policy rather than what you look like or how you identify. So, but as they move forward, they've always been liberal, right? They've always been, so-called for the small guy. And so the small guy is always in our society has always been looked at as like person of color. So they set themselves up for it. And as time came move forward to 2015-ish and 16, 17, they became, hey, we've always been for the small guy, the people of color. Well, now we want to push the people of color in politics. We're gonna make sure we got people that's trans. We gotta make sure we got people that's black, Native American, Hawaiian, whatever the case, whatever group, whatever nationality or skin color, whatever it is, we're gonna push that. And so it's been in the making for quite some time, and now they're able to see the fruit of it, where they got trans people in office now. That's not something that ever happened until the 2020s. So but
yeah. I still don't get that. How anybody can vote for.
I don't know either, man. But the thing is, by them doing this, by them going to that point, what has happened is Americans have caught on to, why are we just putting people in position just by what they identify as or what they tell you they are? What sense does that make? Because we're not getting good on our investment. Like, we're putting this person in office, and then they're pushing policies that don't help us at all. They're helping their people, the trans people, the gay people, but they're not helping the average American. So this last election proved that Americans have had enough of that identity politics that the Democrats have built themselves up to run campaigns on. We're not going for it. And
Yeah,
it's crazy to me that, like you said, somebody will put a trans person in the office. Like that's ridiculous.
and I guess I don't hate to, rehash stuff, but kind of thinking about the gender roles and stuff. This DEI, like I was looking at the stuff out there in California, and they had these the fire, I guess it's fire, whatever it is, fire chief, and these trans and DEI, and I'm like, my fireman needs to be a big, strong dude. A fireman needs to be a big dude who can handle that hose pipe. You know, bigger than me. I'm 5'11", 175 pounds. They need to be bigger than me. Okay, I understand my limitations. I don't need some little dude, some little woman out here as a fireman. They need to be big, strong men.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, I got a friend of mine, man. He is a firefighter, and he told me he said, man, it's a joke. It's a joke because he said the women that are firefighters, he said they don't even go fight the fires. He said they were doing a training drill one day, right? And he said the female was trying to use the hose, and he said, man, she couldn't even get the hose on. She couldn't hold it. She's not strong enough. She just couldn't do it. He said, imagine her going to a fire by herself, like she's gonna be the person that's gonna man the hose and spray. He said she can't do it. So he said, so really what the females are there for at the firehouse, they cook the food for everybody. They
Yeah,
drive the trucks.
yeah,
He said that's about the extent of what they do. He said
that's
they
fine.
don't go fight fires. They can't physically do it for real. Even when he's about going and pulling people out of the fire, like it's more efficient to have men there because the women it's just a liability. So I
Yeah,
mean
because
I got
now
that
you have
straight
to
from a
worry about
fireman.
her.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah, because now you're at not only do you have to worry about people victims in this fire and putting out fire. Now you've got to worry about her because now she's getting in the damn way. And what if she gets hurt? Now you got to pull her out of there. Now you're down help. I mean, it's just you don't like I said. They need to be in the fire station cooking the food or driving the truck or you know
Yeah. I
something along.
mean that's it. I mean it's to me it's common sense. Like you said, if a guy isn't able to do it, nobody the guy's not gonna be like, oh well, you gotta let me do it because I'm here to do it. It's like, but you don't qualify though. You can't do it. You didn't run a 1.5 miles in 15 minutes like you're supposed to. Okay, can't do it.
Yeah,
So if we can't do it and we're not gonna make a fuss about it, then why is it that women are just put into the role when they don't even have to do the 1.5 mile run in the same time? They ain't gotta run it in the same 15 or 12 minutes, whatever it is. They give them extra minutes. When they do push-ups, they don't have to do the 50 or whatever. They do like 30. So it's not even the same test. Like, how's that fair? We're supposed to be doing equality. Why is it that in the military and police and firefighting, why is it that the women have a lesser test to pass? The men have to go harder. It don't make any sense. What are we what are
there's
we
a
talking about? Is it equal or not?
that that is not equal because they're not equal. I mean,
Right.
there's
It's like they're admitting that they're not equal to men. But they won't say that they're not equal to men. Like what are we doing?
there's some movie I wish I could think of the name of it. And at first I thought this looks pretty good, and it looked like it was a special forces unit that got shot down or something. It was in North Korea until I seen that the squad leader and the one that was pushing everybody to make it was this little small female. And I was like, I'm done. I don't care anything about watching this. This little mealy mouth woman ain't pushing the special forces unit. This
Right.
the jungles of North Korea. It's like and quit with all this feel good stuff, man. It's like um oh gosh, I'm trying to
Man.
think of some movie that's oh but yeah, I mean it's just like stuff with that like what was this thing they had on Disney a while back? Oh god, this like super little ninja girl, and she could harness these powers from her family, and she'd go in, she's like, just kicking everybody's ass. Like, this is just.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that show, man. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. My kids will watch that every now and again.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I'd
forgot
be
I forgot that
careful.
show. Yeah, but yeah. She was doing all kind of. She was like karate or something. She's like a little ninja or something.
So you have to be careful, like, because I think Disney changed, like, their stuff, because, like, they was putting out some really weird crap there for a while, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done. They'll still be putting that crazy mess out, but it's like I said, American society has kind of gotten enough of it. Like, whereas it was trending upward for all that nonsense, now it's starting to come down a little bit to where people are just coming back to their senses. And thankfully, with Trump in there, he's making sure that the government is on the same page. So they're scaling back the nonsense too. So it's gonna be in a better place. But yeah, man, they putting out all kind of nonsense for these kids, man. Just this ridiculous stuff with gender and gender fluid and all that type of stuff in
Yeah,
kid shows, Disney and cartoons, and it's like they know that the kids are impressionable. They know the kids are an easy target, and if you can get the kids on your side, then that's the future. So if you get the kids to believe into this nonsense, then moving forward, when they get old enough to be, working and stuff like that, they're already in the mindset of this is normal and it's not normal, right? But that's what they want kids to believe.
you know what I think some of this started, that really got people's eyes opened up is when uh the left went after Dave Chappelle so hard.
Yeah. Was that like 2018? I think 19.
I don't think it was that long ago, was it? I mean, when about the was it the? I thought
Because
it was
I
just a
want to say
couple
it
of years.
was like right around the pandemic, like right before it or something like that,
I think it was
2019 or
right.
something like that. I want to
I
say.
think it was. I thought it was right after it. Maybe it was before. I mean, but it was like the trend. He was talking about the transgender stuff, and they kicked him off.
Yeah.
They kicked him off Netflix and everything, and it was like,
Yep.
hey man, enough. Because it's like this stuff just kind of popped. I remember it was like 2014 or 2015. This stuff just kind of popped off, and I remember seeing the first one I ever met. It was like I knew this was a dude, sounded like a dude, but it was everything else said woman. I was like, do I say sir or ma'am or what? What do I say? I mean, do I, you know, try not to be offensive here? And then here's one thing I said. I noticed. So I looked up. It seems like there's more like make sure I get it right. It's the females, dudes turn female. Like the trans females big in like the gay black community. Have you heard that?
Oh, let's say that again.
All right, so I'll make sure I'm getting them all right, because the LGBT is like, so with the transsexual, like, there's a higher percentage of black males that act like females than there are like, you know, females to males or white dudes that act like females or Hispanics that
Oh,
like,
now that's yeah. I can go along with that. I can definitely see that. Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
which I was surprised because I knew how like, you know, white people are more open to, stuff like that as like on a whole, it's what black people are. And then when I seen like that, it was more like black female trans on a percentage when I was reading about that. I was like, okay, I was like, well, okay, huh? Which I don't know what percentage of the population this sexual perversion is as a whole, but I just thought that was you know, interesting stat. I don't know if there's
Yeah,
a reason.
yeah. I definitely can agree with that. You
There, you
see
got
you see way more men, black men being emasculated and talking about they want to wear dresses and painting nails. You see way more of that than you see females, trying to be a guy. Like, I mean, I see that all the time. I think that's more of a society thing anyway.
yeah, but I mean, it's more of a percentage, even like more black uh, trans than there is like white trans, Hispanic trans, Asian trans, and just for that one, for to be female. I mean, I have to go back and look at these stats. The stuff's weird to me anyway, man. I mean,
Yeah,
like I couldn't imagine if I went home and told my parents I was gender fluid or I was non-binary or I don't know what the hell that means.
yeah.
I know, man. Like, the first time I saw they called me a cis man, and I was like, I thought they was like, being insulting, and they told me, it means you identify with the gender you was born with, and I was like, I really didn't need a term that. And then there was some dude that was running for city council in Montgomery. Was it 2 years ago? Y'all had an election?
Yeah, 2025.
Okay, and I
I
remember I
mean,
was talking to this dude.
2023. My bad. Yeah.
I was talking to this dude. He seemed really kind of flamboyant, but he was talking about it's time for the trans women and cis women to sit down and have a conversation about using the
Oh,
same
it was a black
bathroom.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was if I'm not mistaken, I know there was a guy that ran. His name was Terrell Anderson.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him, man. Yeah, he's a socialist, man. He's a self-proclaimed socialist.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me because he was talking about that. Because when I said, so you want to have a group of what spokesmen for women, cis women as you call it, women who identify as women, and a spokesman for trans women to sit down at a table and discuss, to come to a compromise on using the same damn bathroom. Is that what you're telling me that you want to have
M-
happen?
Man, I was like, I couldn't when I first saw that guy running, I didn't know him, like never seen the guy before. So when I saw his picture, I wasn't thinking, okay, gay guy, whatever. But then I saw him do an interview, and I mean the way he was talking this, I said, oh man, this dude here he's flaming. And
Oh
so
yeah,
I went to looking at his website and stuff, and like you said, he was pushing all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense, man. I'm like, he's not winning. Like he's not gonna win, and it wasn't even close. He wasn't nowhere near winning his district. But look, man, we're liberal down here in Montgomery. Like not me, but the city that I live in. It's a liberal city, but that whole gay thing and trans thing, they're not ready for that yet. Like they're not that far, right? They've gone a little, if it's anything related to color, skin color, all for it. They all for that down here. But when it comes to gay lifestyle, being trans and stuff, that's out of bounds, right? Because we still are in the South, and
yeah.
people still got conservative values. So that's a little too much, right? Maybe in California, that's fine. Maybe New York, Chicago, places like that, Virginia. But Montgomery, Alabama, no, no, not yet.
But I wonder, like in those places, like in California or New York or Virginia, are they like it? Are they like what it is here in the South, where they have to have these big, huge events to show, hey, we're having Pride event? Because if it's seems like if it's accepted there more, are they broadcasting it? Because it seems like a huge damn production down here.
Yeah, you talking about like places like California?
Yeah, do they have a huge Pride events or?
Oh yeah, man. Like LA is huge. I know down in Florida, like they do a huge thing in Miami. Um, up in New York, they got Buffalo, they got a big pride grouping up there or whatever they want to call it. Chicago, like there's certain places that it's just Atlanta is big. Like it's certain places that it's just really really a big thing. Um, and it's starting to trickle into Alabama. Now I don't know about up there where you are, but down this way, man, you got Prattville, Alabama, which is 10 minutes outside of 5 minutes outside of Montgomery. It's right there. Um, they've got a Prattville Pride group that they were in the Christmas parade. The Christmas parade last year. The Christmas that just passed. They were in the parade, right? They were gonna have a trans guy on the float, but there was so much backlash. I did videos on it. I had people, all kind of people watching my videos and stuff.
They're gonna get
Um,
somebody killed.
man, it was crazy. But because of the backlash, they decided they were still gonna participate, but they didn't have the trans guy or whatever on the float. So it was like I think they just had the design or whatever, decorated. But yeah, it was a big thing, man. Like it was a wild thing. And then in Montgomery, there's a pride group here as well. So it's in these areas. It's in Alabama.
Well, you've
The
got,
thing
like at
is, the
Birmingham,
more we're aware everybody is, they can be like, okay, it's there. Let's make sure we don't give in to it. That's all.
like
Go ahead.
Birmingham, they got one like Central Alabama Pride or something, and then I don't know if they've got. I'm sure they probably got one in Huntsville, and um, I guess as they go into every major city, it's they've got pride groups or whatever. Have a trans, there's a trans. I mean, they trying to get somebody killed down there.
Man, they were when they were trying to do the Christmas parade, they the pride group itself was saying, "Oh, we're getting all these death threats and stuff, and we don't feel safe." Well, guess what happened? The city of Prattville said, "Hey, well, we're gonna take y'all out of the parade or whatever." So they had taken them out of the parade. They were like, they're not gonna let them to be there. Well, then the pride group came back and said, "Now you're discriminating against us." So they put a lawsuit in. They put a lawsuit against the city because they said, now you're discriminating against us. But y'all just got done saying that y'all were afraid because y'all were getting death threats. So which is it? Like, do you want to be in the parade and maybe you get something happen to you? Or do you want to be safe and stay at the house and stay in the closet? Which one you want to do? So yeah, it got a little crazy there, man. As far as I know, um I guess they're still going forth with their lawsuit against the city, but but they did get in the parade, so and nothing
I mean,
happened.
why would you want to put yourself in that kind of position? You know, it'd be like like I'm getting lineage stuff done, and we'll probably join like just so I have it in you'll have the medal from it, SVA group, Sons of Confederate Veterans, because I had relatives that did it. I'm not a guy with a Confederate battle flag or like these some of these people are, but why would you? I mean, I wouldn't go put a Sons of Confederate Veterans uh, um, Christmas float into a parade going in downtown Birmingham or downtown Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're just not.
Yeah,
You're not. Why would you? So why are these gays going to put themselves in a position down there with families that is going to put themselves? Why would you do that? You're trying to
yeah,
bring. You're
and
trying to bring that onto yourself. You know what I'm saying?
and, and you know what? Um, there's a difference between LGBTQ people wanting to put have a float in the parade versus, let's say, Sons of the Confederacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, on the surface, people are thinking, "Oh, Sons of Confederacy, that's racist or whatever." there was there was a in the South, there was the Confederate States of America that existed, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was the Confederacy. There were what, 9 states that were in it.
True.
It's not like it was a fringe group that never, you know, solidified into anything in the statewide thing. It wasn't like some kind of group that did. This was the states, right? This was the government. Like, it
No, I
existed.
tell you going.
So just to honor that, or to honor somebody's ancestors that happened to be in the Confederacy, that nothing wrong with that. That's way different than a person who's living a lifestyle that's detrimental. How do we know the lifestyle is detrimental? Well, they have
I
some of
see.
the highest HIV rates out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They have some of the highest rates of suicide and suicidal ideations than any other group. Um, like, it's
Drugs
just
and
not
alcohol.
healthy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I
and
see exactly
then
where you're going with that.
yeah, and then to top that, they been telling us, oh, it's not about kids. We don't want to have kids involved in this. It's about adults. We just want to be adults and get married and be a man, be a woman, be fluid, whatever we want to do. It's not about kids. Well, why you want to be in a Christmas parade? Who goes to a Christmas parade? Kids, right? Like, don't
Yeah,
kids want to go see
exactly.
Santa? And don't kids want to go see the lights and all the colors and stuff? Like, they are involved in a lifestyle that is not healthy mentally or physically or spiritually, in my opinion.
Yeah, or emotionally.
And they're in it to try to get kids to be involved in that nonsense and that unhealthy lifestyle. To me, there's no way around them talking about it's not, it's nothing wrong with them doing it. Yeah, it is a whole lot wrong with y'all being involved.
I mean, the whole debauchery around it, like I never understood where it got to the point of this drag drag queen story hour. Where you have there these children. Why are you? I mean, why are we exploiting these? There shouldn't be a stripper story hour. I don't want to see a stripper go around a bunch of children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, there's no difference. Right? So, like, we never seen a stripper story hour. Likewise, we shouldn't have a grown man in wearing heels and a wig and all that stuff in front of 5 or 6 year olds. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I
Um,
mean,
or at a Christmas parade. Like, why are we gonna have a guy in drag at a Christmas parade? We're
yeah,
we're
that's
here
my
to
first
honor.
thing.
We're honoring Christ. We're celebrating Christ. Like, Christ didn't. He called out sin. Right? That's a sin. So he didn't agree with that. And so why would we allow you, why we want you to be a part of that when you're going against God, but you're at a Christmas parade? It makes no sense. There's no
And
angle where it is good for them to be involved.
that was the first thing I thought of is why did they want to why are you putting them in a float? I mean, because like I said, it's Christmas, kids, Santa, L, and all that crap. I mean, why do they want to put themselves out there only to be is to put their debauchery out there and to cause controversy? I mean, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, I can't see why. And maybe I didn't make a good example a while ago, but I was just trying to think of an example where I was trying to, I would not put myself in a position where other people wanted, would cause them hostility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's why I said, like, on the surface, what you're saying, yeah, that's true, because the stigma of the Sons of Confederacy is so bad that I get what you're saying. Like, why would you want to be involved, and then now you're bringing attention to yourselves, and people don't want you to be there and stuff. Like, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, it's the difference between that really existed versus something that, yeah, it exists, but it's not something that society, government wise, has been something that's been positive. It has been, it's put us back. Like, and
I mean,
it's an unhealthy lifestyle. It don't make any sense.
what was the trans man? Well, they're gonna have this person just isolated out, like, hey, this is the trans man, and then so now kids got to go home and ask their parents. What does that mean? I mean,
Yeah, apparently the guy that was gonna be doing it, he's a somebody in the trans community, as far as I guess in our area. I'm not too into the trans movement or whatever,
yeah,
pride movement. So I don't know all the, I'm not in on the names and whatnot, right? But
right.
from what I saw, this guy is pretty famous with these people. Like, he's like a local celebrity. So I guess by day, he's Dave. You know what I'm saying? Chris or whatever. Sorry, bad name. He's Jeff, right? By day, but by night, he's he's Mary. He's
No, see,
whatever.
that
He's flaming uh whatever, flaming
no, see,
Josephine or something.
I believe the people that's different. Like somebody who who's a dude during the day and cross dress at night. The trans, they take like hormones and stuff and grow breasts, and they're living like as a woman.
Yeah. So this guy, he's playing pretend, you know what I'm saying? He's doing it for, it's entertainment for him, right? It's just entertainment. It's not, I guess it ain't even like real. So to me, it's like he's making a mockery of it, right? I mean, that's what I would think. He's making a mockery of a man being a woman. But like you're saying, there's trans where there's men that they say, they got a mental disease where they really feel like they're female. So to them, it's real. This guy's playing pretend. So to me, if anything, you wouldn't want him to be a part of y'all. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around all that because I mean, I remember like uh, I got thrown out of a bar one time because there was somebody that I found out was a cross dresser, and I was just drunk, like, And I wasn't being mean or anything. I was just telling them how ridiculous they look. You know, you look so stupid sitting there. And they threw me out, which that's fine. But, I'm just trying, so you got one dude that, oh God, this is, how did we get to that point that there's got to be something in my mind, there's got to be something wrong with you, mentally, if you're putting on a dress just to put on at night too.
That's a fact. I mean, period. Just like the pastor. I know you heard this story. The pastor in Alabama, was that like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that he was a pastor, but in his free time, private time,
Yeah,
he
but
was a drag queen female person.
yeah,
And he was
but
posting pictures and everything on Instagram and all kinds of stuff. And some guy, some reporter in Alabama, like found out about him and outed him, and then the man committed suicide. Remember that?
yeah, I was about a year up there at Savage Station. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah. There you go. Yep. There you go. So, it's like it's like you said, it's weird anyway. And the guy wouldn't have committed suicide had he had not felt like what he was doing was wrong. He knew it was wrong. He was doing it in his private time, and the reason why he got found out was because he put it out to the world. Like, one guy, he put two and two together, right? And he figured it out that it was him. But the guy was doing something he shouldn't have been doing, and as a result, he got found out, and he did what he did to himself. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but what you do in the dark gonna come to the light. And when you're a so-called man of God and you're preaching to people about how they should be living their lives, and then the man's going home and putting on a dress and wig and makeup and stuff, like, dude, what are you like? That's hey,
I
I mean,
mean,
hey, he did what he did to himself because he knew he was doing wrong. So if he was doing something right, then why would you kill yourself? Doesn't make any sense.
yeah, that was just such a, just a,
You
yeah,
know,
just
like there's nothing in my life that I'm doing that would cause me to think, oh, I need to off myself because I feel bad. Like I don't want nobody to know about this. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Nothing in my life is like that. So, I don't know.
Oh, the one thing I want to say before I forget, I was laughing at something you said a while back. You was on one show, I was laughing at it, and I forgot it was talking about. I don't know if that's talking about the justice system or something. You said, "Hey, I've never been arrested with any felony." Or you said something, don't do felonies, you won't get arrested. I've never been charged with any, or,
Right.
or something along those lines. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, it's like people get. I think it was probably around like people resisting arrest and stuff like that, and it's like don't don't put yourself in bad situations, and you will have a bad outcome, right? It's like just don't commit crimes. It's pretty simple. Don't go commit crimes. Don't rob. Don't steal. Don't assault people. Don't murder people. Don't do these things, and then you want to deal with the consequences of having a felony on your record, which now now you done did your time. You're out. You're trying to get a job, can't get one, all because you went and assaulted somebody for no reason. Like it just make smart decisions, and you won't have to worry about the repercussions of making bad decisions. It's
Yeah,
it's real simple.
it really is. Just don't, stop breaking the law, and because there's so many things out there that can help people right now. Like it's like I've started getting like the applying for all the VA stuff. Like, why don't I use that, man? I got the VA benefits and like, homeless people, people on drugs. There's so much stuff that'll help through like the VA that I don't know how we have veterans that are still, in need, man. I don't know if like, there's so much stuff out there available to them, but I don't know what's going on that we can't get that problem taken care of.
I think at a certain point, you can have all the resources in the world, all the money in the world, and give to people. And people are people. There are people who, if you were to write them a check for $100,000, and let's say they have nothing, right? You get them $100,000. Most people that get $100,000, they're gonna in a matter of maybe hours or days, that $100,000 gonna be gone, right? They'll have nothing to show for it. Not because so the burden wasn't on the person who gave them the 100,000. The burden is on the person who has been given the $100,000 to be a good steward of the money. And the problem is we got all these resources out here that do help veterans and other people, homeless people, whatever. But people have to want to do good with the resources. They have to want the resources first, and they don't want the resources. A lot of them, and then when they do get the resources, they abuse the resources, right? So, which is just it's a cycle. They don't move up in society. They stay where they are because they want to be where they are, and they'll take the money or take the resources, but they never get off the resources. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Oh yeah.
welfare. Welfare, same thing. People get on welfare and they get stuck on welfare, right? Because they get comfortable at being on welfare. They don't want to go get a job and make their own money and pay for their own groceries and stuff. It's easier just get money from the government, and then on the side they might do a little hustle here and there, whatever. But they're taken care of. Why move up when you stay down at the bottom and you're taken care of?
Yeah, several years ago, I got a DUI and I had to do some community service, and it's part of it was like 50 hours, and I was down the did it the Jimmy Firehouse Ministry, one of those homeless shelters, and that it was full, and there was maybe two guys out of that whole place that had
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened, fell on some hard times. I don't know. But they were up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and were going and working until they had to be in at bed check to try to get enough money to get out of that place. Everybody else, man, they was like a fat cat. They were just as happy. They was going for all the different places around there, eating 3 different lunches a day, and they were not going anywhere. And I'm like, okay, this is not curing the fixing the solution.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing that we run into a lot of times when we're talking about like people that are homeless or whatever the case. There's a lot of resources out here, man. The resources are here. It's not for a lack of money. It's not for a lack of volunteers. It's not for a lack of the resources of helping them pay bills or whatever. That's there. That's there. It's just that people tend to abuse these resources rather than use the resources for a short amount of time and then get to the point where they can, they're self-sustaining. That's the problem. People don't want to be self-sustaining. So we just stay in this cycle of we have to give them something. We got to give them housing. We got to give them food. We got to give them clothing. And it's like, but where are we getting with this? Right? In California, they got the thing where they were taking over hotels, right?
Yeah.
They were making hotels give rooms. Look, I'm talking about which one? Not like Motel 6 type. We're talking about like 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels. And the government is like telling them, look, y'all got to allow these homeless people to stay in your hotel rooms. Like we're gonna subsidize it, we're gonna take care of it, but you gotta house them. It's like now what you're gonna do is the hotel's gonna become run down because you got people who are not gonna upkeep the hotel. They're gonna use and abuse, and the hotel's gonna, you know, uh, get the brunt of the situation. It's not gonna help them out, but our focus is in the wrong place. Instead of trying to give people that don't deserve it this spot, let's help them work for themselves and work themselves up to staying in that hotel or whatever the case is. Let's let's do that instead of just giving them all this stuff that they're just gonna take it for granted. They don't make any
So
sense.
how much flack do you catch being a conservative Trump supporter?
Man, a ton. Like I got done. I talked about my bro recently. He's a so-called black guy too, and we were talking to and we have come to the understanding that being a white conservative is something that black liberals don't see that as odd or weird. It's almost like they expect it, right? They expect white people, or white men especially, to be conservative. So when they
Yeah,
see one, they don't feel too much animosity about that. It's like, oh, cool, I figured it was. But when they
right.
see a minority like, like me or my bro, like when they see us and we're telling them we're conservative, they get upset, they get angry. It's animosity toward us immediately, because it's like, how dare you have a mind of your own and think for yourself, and you got the audacity to not be a Obama supporter, or you got the audacity to not want Kamala in office, a black woman. It's like they get upset, man. So, yeah, I get a lot of flack about it, man, a whole lot. And I got used to it. I got used to it pretty early on. I came out, you know, on social media with this, like, I say about 2017, 18, and then I started doing videos and stuff in 2020. But I had always been vocal anyway. Back when I was an Obama supporter, back in 06, 07, oh 07, oh 08. Back then I was always vocal, even then when I was on that side. So I've always been like that. But being vocal on the conservative side, man, I get a whole bunch of hate all the time.
I see it only growing more and more over as time goes by, because when you start looking at, you know, black males and Latino males, and like, they're conservative. They don't want this trans stuff, and and they're not for defunding the police, and they're not for, they want a safe environment. So they believe the same things that all conservatives believe. So I just see it just going more and more against the Democrats.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's more and more, and it's, for me, it's a good thing to see, because of all the flack that I do get. It's awesome to see that the numbers are starting to change, where we can see it. Like, I see it just with my naked eye, of like people that I know that were on the other side and now they're on this side. I'm like, oh, really? Like, even you switched over? Like, I see this. So to see the numbers reflect that in percentage wise in the election, it's an awesome thing to see, because the more the more people that you can get as far as minorities to be conservative, the more even the field is. It just, it creates a better environment overall, to where things are not so lopsided or one-sided, right? It's
Yeah,
just,
absolutely. Yeah.
it never works. Like in white America, it's pretty even. Like, if you meet a white person, you almost don't really know what they are politically, because the white vote is so much down the middle. It's half liberal, half conservative. And then you
Right.
got a bunch of libertarians, you got a bunch of like more agnostic people, you got independents and all kind of stuff. So, but when it comes to black, you can almost 9 times out of 10 say that's a liberal, and you'll be right. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and I don't know how the Republicans, what they screwed up, or or just lost touch or whatever, because so many blacks voted Republican for so many years. Like in 1960, Richard Nixon was one who was reached out to MLK when he was in jail. The Kennedy brothers were trying to stay away from it, like and then the Republicans just kind of lost that lost that vote for a while. And I'm glad some finally reaching back out, like, hey, come join us.
Yep, that's right. And I think it's been Trump, man. I think Trump has pretty much stood in the gap, and he has merged the two sides in a way that hasn't been done. Like, what Republican has made the headway that Trump has made as a Republican? Not very many, because not very many have gone into these, so-called black spaces to interact with them and say, look, I hear y'all need this, y'all need that. I'm here to hear y'all, I'm here to listen to you, and I'm here to act on your behalf. He's done that, right?
Yeah,
And so, because he's done that, he's gone to Atlanta, to the I forgot the event. I don't know if I don't think it was Revolt. I think it was with Fox, but it was like these women, all
Black
black
Journalists
women.
Association.
Yeah, and he went to Atlanta and he sat down with them, and I mean they were nasty. They were, you know, showing their, what, to the guy, and it's like, even with that animosity, even with the hostility that they had, the man showed up and the man showed out, right? And
Yeah, he won't.
because he
That
went
won't.
and did that, and he had to know, okay, they gonna try to twist it around and smear me, but long as he stays there and gets his points across, and the fact that he's there, that speaks volumes to people when they can see that the man showed up in the first place. Not very many Republicans gonna show up to begin with, and he did.
No, Kamala didn't even. Kamala was supposed to show for
And she
that.
wasn't there, exactly,
And
exactly,
I,
and that's what and that's her people,
yeah,
allegedly.
that was her. And I remember the Trump said, for years she identified as an Indian, and now she wants to be black.
Right,
That's
exactly.
what we just trying to change.
Man, whatever is politically expedient, whatever's convenient, that's what Democrats do, man. Whatever's convenient at the time, they're gonna do that. If you need them to hop on one leg while singing, they're gonna do that. If you need them to identify as a cockroach, they're gonna do that. It don't matter, man. They'll do anything. They'll do anything for a vote. Anything. It don't really matter what it is. We watched what's the guy's name? Andrew Yang. Remember that guy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
ran
yeah,
president in 2020?
yeah,
Like, this guy, bro. You remember that video where he got on his knees and the guy put shaving cream, whipped cream in his mouth? Remember that?
yeah, yes.
I mean, who does that? This man is running for president. He got on his knees and a man sprayed whipped
Uh,
cream in his mouth.
yeah.
And it was so
That,
bad that the man's handler, I don't know who the guy was, some guy on his team had to come get him and be like, "Hey man, we got to go. Like, you're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing your whole political ticket right now.
the Democrat
What are you
Party.
doing?"
You're
Yeah.
embarrassing
So,
women
like
in
I said,
general.
they'll do anything on the Democrat side, bro. They'll do anything, no matter what it is.
He was the one that was wanting to give every American $1,000 a month or something.
Yes. It was a
Yeah,
universal income or something, UBI. Universal
yeah.
universal based income, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, where are you getting this $1,000 a month? I mean, where is this coming from? I know that those, his people are good with math. you know,
Right.
uh,
Yeah. Hey man, I don't know, man. He hey, it's a joke. It's a joke, but I'm kind of not joking. He must have reached out to the blacks. He must have called Atlanta and said, "Hey," he must call the hood and say, "Hey man, I'm trying to get a good platform. I'm trying to figure out some kind of way to economically make everything more even and help everybody out. What can I do?" They're like, "Hey man, hey cuz, hey, just give everybody $1,000, dog. Give us about a good $1,000, $2,000 a month, and we'll be good, cuz. Yeah, just do that." He was like, "Okay, thank you." I mean, that had to be what happened because, like you said, them Asian people, man, they give them numbers. They ain't finna tell that man no crazy stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm
yeah,
joking, but I'm kind of not joking. Like,
yeah,
where did he get that from?
well, one dude said something online. As you said about there goes he said, yeah, go into that because we're gonna spend every bit of it right back. He said, so then you got that money going back in the common, you got the taxes. I said, damn, man.
For real. I mean, right back. What I was talking about earlier. You give people resources and you give people money, the burden becomes their burden. And most people are not going to do good with money. They're just not.
So hey, somebody said, hey, give me 1,000, or what'd you say? How'd you say it again?
Hey, cuz, just give me all we need is about a good 1,500, 2,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? That'll put a little food in the refrigerator. And then we'll be good. Yeah, just do that, Andrew. Andrew said, "Oh, okay, guy, sure."
And then they come back, so they got me fucked up.
Yeah, come back. And then the black dude come back. "Hey man, I know I said 1,500, but for real, Probably about 10,000 though, for real. About 10,000 probably good. Oh, okay, cool. I give you guys 10,000. And then you know what I'm saying? He'll come back. Hey man, I know I said 10, but shoot, we're gonna need about 25 for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? It never ends. It never ends. It's gonna always be it's the Democrat way. Cause aren't they the same ones that say the minimum wage is not high enough? We need to be $15. Then it went to 15. Now what they saying? 25. We need 25. Like it never ends. It never ends. It's never enough.
What kills me about them is they're constantly talking about the Republicans and taking care of the one percenters, and we want the wealthy to pay their share. When have they ever raised taxes on anybody? I mean, the wealthy or the 1%. I mean, they're not raising taxes on them; they're raising taxes on themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, like,
It's it's like that. It's like that AOC thing when she went to that gala, and this lady's a Democrat. This lady is talking about she wants to tax the rich and all this stuff, right? And then she goes to the gala that they call it the Met Gala, and it's like it costs like $50,000 just to walk in the door. Like, I can't go. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to go. Most people
no,
watching this can't go because we don't have $50,000 just to walk into a banquet. You know what I'm saying? So she had this dress on that said tax the rich. But everybody in the place that you're in, including herself, is rich. Like, what sense that they don't make any sense. Nothing, they don't do anything consistently. It's they pick and choose what they want to tax, who they want to tax, when they want to tax them. They pick and choose certain laws that they want to pass at the time that's expedient to them, convenient for them. But on one hand, they're for freedom of choice for a woman to go kill a baby, right? But then on the other
yeah,
hand, they'll tell you and me, oh, when you go buy a firearm, you can't have but this many bullets in your magazine. And when you have the gun in your house that you pay for, you have to put it in a lockbox. Like, where's
right.
the free? Y'all were just for freedom a minute ago, but now you're telling me that I gotta do all these X's and O's before I can even have a gun. What? Nothing's consistent.
Yeah, like, they're so worried about them. Like, the guy who's walking into the pawn shop or the gun store or whatever, guy like me, that's not the person you got to worry about. I mean, yeah, you got that occasional whatever that happens where somebody gets pissed and they go buy a gun and shoot somebody, but we're not the ones that's the threat to society.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I talk about that all the time, man. Like when I do my videos and stuff, I talk about gun laws a lot. Because we have a lot of that going on, right? Because I did mention earlier, Montgomery is very liberal, so they're definitely there's a push for gun reform, right? So I'm talking about gun ownership a lot, and I often mention when they're pushing these bills for what they call it gun reform. The only person that they're hurting is the law-abiding citizen
Right.
because we're doing things the right way, right? The criminals, they don't care what law y'all pass. Y'all can pass whatever law y'all want to pass about how many bullets you can have per magazine and how many magazines you can own and where you store your gun and stuff. They don't care nothing about all that. Glock switches, all that,
Mhm.
all that's illegal already, and they still have it. So whatever law y'all want to make is not going to change the fact that they're getting guns and using them to commit crimes. People like you and me, we have a gun. I've had a gun for a long time. I've been having a gun since I was 16. All right,
Right.
back when I didn't know nothing about what to do with a gun, and I never used it in a criminal way. Never did since age 16. And back then, my mindset wasn't what it is right now.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was a lot more, you know, haphazard in life and making bad decisions then, and I still didn't hurt anybody with a gun. So it's the thing is they got to do things that make sense when it comes to making laws or enforcing law. How about we enforce laws that already exist? How about we do that? They love
Right.
going to add a new law. How about deal with the ones y'all got? If Democrats had that same energy toward the laws that exist, like illegal immigration, for example, we might get somewhere. But they go and they want to go look in a whole nother place and say, no, we got to fix that over there. That's the problem. Like, no, the problem is right here. Let's deal with this.
Well, they finally passed, constitutional carry, which great, I supported that. But then they came back and passed another bill here. It's like, okay, we got constitutional carry, but if you get stopped, you need to immediately, inform the officer that you've got a weapon. That's fine, but how did that really improve officer safety? Because if it's somebody that doesn't have to have a weapon, they're not going to inform that officer, and they're going to try to harm that officer. You know, me
That's
informing that
right.
officer that didn't change the situation in any shape. So I don't know why they're you know on the minutia stuff like that. That's not going to change anything.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've talked to state reps. I talked to my state rep. My state rep is Philip Ensler, District 74, Democrat. I had him on my show in 2023, or maybe it was last year. I can't remember. But we talked about gun laws and stuff, and he's a big proponent of gun reform. And I told him everything I just got done saying about gun
Yeah.
reform and about hurting me and you and other law-abiding citizens. I told him the same thing, and he's like, "Okay, I see it from that point." It's almost like when I said it, he didn't even like think like, "Okay, yeah, that they would get affected by that." I didn't think about that, but since I mean, he acted like he was surprised that, oh, that I understand that point of view now. But obviously he doesn't, because he's still going forward with pushing these bills. So I've just come to the conclusion that they want to look at changing laws and stuff, because in the long run they know it's not going to work. But the people who vote for them, who vote for these Democrats, they don't see long term, right? They don't see long term solutions. They see in the right now solution. In their mind, right now, the best thing to do is make gun laws where you lessen the people who have a gun. That's what they think is the answer. But long run, that's not gonna do it, because the criminals don't care about your law, and the law-abiding citizens are gonna be affected. So if I don't if I have less ammunition, if I have to put my gun in a certain place in my house, and then somebody breaks into my house, I'm at a disadvantage, not the criminal. So it's oh man, to me, it's amazing to see people's thought process about different uh, situations. It's just amazing to me.
I mean, gun reform, gun reform laws. That sounds so good. That's just another way of saying gun restriction.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, because they're not going to stop. I mean, because that's, they want those off the streets. I mean, like well, little Kamalo said, and I wish they'd have followed up with her when she said she was a gun owner. What kind do you own? I own a Glock. What generation? What caliber?
Oh man, yeah. That was so interesting, man. Because she went to so far as to say, somebody breaking her house, man. They getting hit, they getting shot or whatever she said. And Oprah was like, "Oh, tell me more." And she was like, "Oh, okay? You got a gun and stuff?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I got a gun. I use it too." It's like interesting, interesting. So it's cool for you, but when for me and for other law-abiding citizens, we can't have guns and we can't use. Well, okay, I mean, again, did I say earlier? There's no consistency. There's no consistency across the board. They pick and choose who can do what at what time. That's the Democrat way.
I mean, I just thought, hopefully, I was afraid 2016. I thought, okay, with demographics and everything, this might be the last Republican race. And, I think we touched on this earlier, but, just to see them, just the common sense approach come back, it's like, Okay, people just finally said, enough of this crap. We're not taking this anymore.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
finally, Van Jones did say something that I agreed with, which is hardly ever. He said, I guess we're just going to admit Donald Trump's just smarter than everybody else. He said, here he is, we're up here blasting him, talking to a audience of 500,000 people, and he's going on a podcast, taking his message to 10 million people.
Yep. Yep. And he went to like 4 or 5 podcasts. So he turned that 10 million into, 40, 50 million.
Oh yeah, that Joe
He,
Rogan one alone. There's no telling how many listens to Joe Rogan.
yeah. It probably, I mean, I said 50 million. He probably, I mean, at the end of the day, he probably got from all his podcast stops and all his interviews, he probably got, shoot, I don't know, man. It might be close to 100 million views altogether.
Probably. I mean,
I mean,
he
really
took his
across the board,
message.
across all these channels.
He took his message to the people. I mean, is like anybody another candidate probably would have beat her a whole lot worse because it's just like so many people dislike Trump. One woman in those groups, she was talking about Kamala one time and just how great of a candidate and articulate, intelligent she was. I told her, I said, you know what? Look, if you told me that you were so woke that your views just align with her, that's fine. I said, if you told me abortion was so important to you that that's why you was voting for her, I understand. I said, if you told me you thought you hated Donald Trump so much that you would not vote for him, that you vote for her, I get it. I said, but don't ever insult my intelligence by telling me she was a well spoken, articulate, intelligent woman, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, this dumb woman.
That's too far.
I mean, it is, man. You know, it's like I said, what goes the worst. And see, I think there was some animosity between I mean, can you imagine Joe Biden? There you are. You just got forced out. You can't run for president. You can't beat Trump. They're going to pick somebody who can beat him. And you said, hey, watch this. And you endorse Kamala. And then you imagine Obama sitting there. I mean, so you got the Obama who, he had to take down the Clintons, give him his props, to take her down to give the presidency. Then the Clintons, they had to fight to, everything they did, give them, the Democrats, whatever. And then for her just to get handed this nomination and just like, you can't tell me these guys weren't looking at her going, no, this bitch is not going to become president.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I almost feel like I almost kind of feel like Joe Biden did it on purpose. Like
Oh, I
when
think
he
Biden did.
when yeah, like when he mentioned her, like, oh, she's running next or whatever, she's gonna be a great president. Like I'm thinking like he's like, yo, okay, I'm this old, my brain is gone, I can't do this. So the Democrats have been treating me so badly. Why not go out with a bang and I'll go ahead and throw her out there, and then now they got no choice. Either way they go, they're gonna be bad, look bad. Because if
Yeah,
they
that's
if
exactly
they
what
if
it
they
is.
if they, if they like they went with her, right? So going with her, look at that turned out. And but if they didn't go with her, likewise, they still would have looked bad because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
the president lifted her up, like he gave her a hand up, and then y'all got the audacity to say, no, no, not going with her. We're gonna go with somebody else. That would look bad. So I think in the end, I think he did it on purpose. I mean, that's what it
Oh,
seemed like. Looking back
I
at it.
think I think for sure. I mean, think about that, and think about this. Barack didn't come out until the final days, maybe the last week. I mean, to campaign for her. Hillary never was on the campaign trail. And look what Bill Clinton said. Bill Clinton said that about, if they'd been properly vetted, Lincoln Riley wouldn't have been murdered. And he said something about, y'all know something about strong economies. And even though your economy was better, y'all did really good under me. And I'm paraphrasing here. And even though your economy was better up under Trump, you should still vote for Kamala. I was like, damn, Bill. And
Yep,
then
yep.
I wasn't,
I mean,
I,
it seemed like they're throwing shade on purpose. I mean, I can't see that any other way.
that's
They're
how I'm
trying
looking
to
at it.
point out these things to be like, yo, that ain't the lady y'all want to go with or whatever. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, because you gotta look at it. The Clintons, um, uh, Obama, like, it's at a point where they Clinton ain't running for president again. Like Hillary ain't gonna run again. Bill can't do it. And then if you look at Obama, he can't run. And then obviously Michelle don't even want to be president because if she wanted to be president, this was her time. This last election was her time to do it.
Yeah.
So she don't want to do it
Oh,
either.
yeah.
So they're at the point where they feel like, yo, man, they can say whatever. They can say whatever and do whatever at this point.
I was some trouble with the Obamas. You know, she didn't go to the uh, Carter's funeral. She didn't go to the inauguration.
Yep. I noticed that Carter funeral. I was like, they first showed it, I'm like, where's Michelle? You got Melania there. You got Bush's wife. You got Biden and Jill. Like, where's old Michelle? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That was a little weird.
And then, inauguration, she didn't come to that.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
So,
Hey,
like,
the claim is I saw a little story or whatever kind of recently. They're saying that Obama been dibble dabbling with another female or two or three.
I mean,
So
I'm wondering, man. That's just, I mean, she couldn't go to one, whatever prior family, stuff happens, but for two events right there back to back, and for her not to go with him.
yeah, yep. I don't know.
I mean,
It might be
you
something
know,
brewing there, man. Might be something brewing. But that
I mean,
whole
maybe, and
that whole that whole view of how they want us to look at him, he's a polished guy, so articulate, so this, so that, no scandals and all that nonsense that we know there was scandal after scandal when he was president. But like they love to lift him up, right? They try to like equate him to like Jimmy Carter or whatever. Like they love to say Jimmy Carter's like the most moral president or whatever, although he was garbage.
right.
Like, so they do that to a point where Obama, but it's like we know the man is not no perfect guy, right? So
No.
they love to try to uplift him to that point, but like maybe now we might be seeing some other things happening. I mean, maybe in the next year or two, we might see something happen that people be like they can't believe. So we'll find out. I don't want to speak that into their life. So I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, you know what happens with a man and woman sometimes. But
Oh yeah. Well, I
yeah.
think
So I
the
mean, that may
shine.
happen, man. Then what would the left say then when that does happen? Hmm.
Well, I think the shine is finally starting to come off Obama. That, hey, he wasn't this deity that people thought he was. Um, there was he was just, like you said, just a man. I mean, he things weren't so much greater after him. He wasn't this godsend.
Yep. Yep. I mean, to me, it's about time. It's about time that we see that the veil comes down, right? We can see behind the curtain a little bit because they protect this guy so much. Like when he was president, how much negative press did he get? Seriously. Like I know people love to say, well, Fox News was talking about. I mean, look, Fox News is one outlet. What about ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC? What about, you know what I'm saying? What about the AP, the Washington Post? What about New York Times? Like, what about everybody else? Who was giving him bad press for 8 years? Like, I don't remember them talking about him doing anything bad, anything negative. I think the
I
worst
mean,
thing I heard
longer
them
than that,
say about him was he's a smoker. He smokes cigarettes. He's a chain smoker, and they were talking about how bad that was or whatever. That was it. Like you can't find anything else to say about the guy. But when it comes to Trump, everything's bad. Like he's been with multiple women. He's this. He's that. He said this. He didn't say he didn't disavow the KKK enough. Like the dude's done it like 1,000 times. How many more he got to do it? He got to do. So he didn't do it 10,000 times. So that means that he's a racist. Like it's just it's just so it's so one sided when it comes to the media. They love to lift up, like you said, Obama to like a deity type level. Just, I mean, I would love somebody to tell me what did they say negative about the guy. It was always something positive, always. Even now it is.
I mean, yeah, you'll never hear anything bad about. I mean, and I'm not here just trying to throw hate on Obama. I mean, I thought the guy. I don't think he was uh the this horrible, president like people. Some people made him out to be the worst, and I don't think he's the greatest. I think he's probably somewhere below average, or right at the cusp. I'm glad his term's gone, and wish him the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think uh I think overall he was one of the worst because we gotta remember the whole recession thing. That was under him. The housing collapse, the housing market collapse. Um, you got the whole gay marriage thing, and the thing about that is he ran a campaign on one man, one woman marriage, but then second term he executive orders gay marriage. So it's
Yeah,
like, dude, like you just outright lied to the American people, to your base. Your base didn't agree with this at that time, and he went against that even. So all that going on, then you had the whole thing with the the Fast and Furious scandal where
oh yeah, yeah,
they were giving guns to the cartel, and the cartel were using the guns to kill Americans.
right.
Like
I forgot
that
about
going,
that.
like he had a lot of different things that happened, but the media just kind of like spun it to make it to so he wouldn't look bad in the situation. But the guy was, to me, he just was radical. Um, he was divisive. It was all about, being black and all that stuff, and he kept pushing the whole it's about change and all that. Like again, like he kind of got that started to a whole nother level with the whole identity politics. He was kind of the first one that really got it going to that point where the Democrat Party was like, okay, we can win with this type of thing, with this game plan. He kind of got that started. I think
Okay.
because he succeeded two times in a row being president, that I think that's what gave him the confidence that that's our move going forward. His identity, which is why Hillary ran in 2016, a woman.
Yeah. Oh no, you mentioned something about him. Yeah, Brock. He got himself involved in stuff that presidents. Like the whole what he said. Like fight a son who like Trayvon. Like you've been just interjected yourself in a murder investigation, and intimidating influence as the president. You need to be quiet and let that stuff run its course.
Exactly, exactly. Stuff like that, man. The guy just like you said, he injected himself, he infused himself into things that didn't pertain to him. Um, imagine imagine Trump doing the same thing about a case. It would be, like they talk about it to no end. But Obama does it, and it's no big deal. Right? It's no big deal. BLM was rioting and stuff. What did he do? Did he call off the dogs? No. They was he was adding fuel to the fire. I mean, yeah, being black in America is this and that, and oh, it's hard and all that. I hear their cries and stuff. Dude, they are killing people in the streets with these riots. They are burning stuff down. They're causing destruction, and you're telling them you hear their cries. I mean, what do you mean? What cries? The cries from their victims? I mean, what
I mean, yeah, this is like,
insanity?
and what I look at this too, and I'm sitting there looking at, this is a white dude sitting there looking at this. It's like, okay, so you got this BLM, and they're over here, killing people and tearing people's stuff up, and like, ain't this the exact opposite of like MLK and the whole civil rights movement to begin with about peaceful protesting and stuff? I mean, what happened here?
Man, this the new wave. This the new wave, man. This is the Malcolm X. on steroids wave right here. Like Malcolm X wasn't even to this point. I mean, to be honest, Malcolm X, he recognized that the liberal agenda was the enemy of black people in America. Like he realized that these black people today, they embrace the liberal agenda, right? They embrace it. So when you embrace when you add in they're embracing the liberal agenda, and you're embracing the violent nature of, okay, in order to make change we got to be violent. That's being accepted. I mean, that's a bad that's a bad mix. The liberal agenda and violence. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Even Malcolm X wasn't even on that level.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at like the people who've, you know, like assassinations, usually it's liberal uh, agitators pushing for violence. Lee Harvey Oswald, he's a communist.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And it's been like that from the beginning. Always been liberal.
I mean,
It's
like
very
World
it's
War
very
One.
rare to find a conservative that's doing like that's doing using violence. It just don't happen like that. Even the guys who commit the racial crimes, right? Like in Buffalo, the guy did the shooting at Tops Market. Um, Dylan
Right.
Roof in South Carolina. Like even those people, those are not conservatives. They're not conservatives. Those people are they're on the left. So even those guys that they would look at and say, "Oh, those are Trump supporters." No, they're not. They're on y'all guys' side.
And the liberals, were giving Biden hell too because for not commuting Roof's sentence. Like, really,
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't deserve to even breathe the air, and y'all are upset. Y'all want him to live. I just can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they felt like, well, he just did it for all these other, killers and stuff. So it's like, might as well go all the way, man. I mean, if you gonna go do something, man, don't do a half ass, go all the way. And I mean, there was a few guys that he was like, I'm not finna do it for them, but it's like you did it for your son. You pardoned Fauci. I mean, apparently, allegedly, Fauci ain't even do nothing. So why are you pardoning him already? I mean, that's weird. Then it was like murderers he pardoned and stuff. Like it's just. Didn't I say earlier? No consistency. If you're gonna pardon, killers and child murderers and stuff, then I mean, to me, you're not going too far with going and letting Roof out because you just let out other murderers.
Yeah,
So
I like if you're gonna do all of
you know what
them,
I'm saying? But
let
there's
all
no
of them out.
consistency when it comes to these guys. They pick and choose who they want to do for what at that time. Like that's what it's about. It's just what's convenient for them at the time.
And damn Fauci, man, that now that he's been pardoned, there's no immunity or taking the fifth. I'd had his ass up there testifying before Congress
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Um, but hey, man, I've enjoyed the talk. I'm not going to keep you much longer as I've had you on here for a while. I know you got family and stuff you got to attend to. But
Hey man, I enjoyed it, man. As always.
yeah, let's do it again real soon. I'm watching the Super Bowl. When I get it uploaded, I'll send you the new link over there, brother.
Awesome, awesome, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right, talk soon.
All right, we'll do.
Bye.
All right.
God damn, man.